And welcome back to the 2021 Battle of Hastings. It is Sunday, September 12th. It is finals day here at the Battle of Hastings. We've gotten through the qualifying rounds. We've narrowed the 8 teams down to 5. And we got a competition on our hands. I'm Chris Doyle. I'm going to be commentating a lot of what you're going to be seeing today. And once again, joining me in the commentary booth with his honest commentary, sometimes brutally honest commentary, is Mr. Dan Lacey. Dan, thank you so much for doing this with me yet again.
Thank you very much for having me, and to everyone at home, thanks very much for having me. It's been an absolute treat.
Well, Dan, based on what we saw yesterday, what do you think we can expect to see today? Are these riders going to be playing it safe? Are they going to stick to the script? Or are they going to be stepping it up a little bit?
Honestly, you'd like to think that, given it being finals day, there's a lot more to play for. So I think everyone's got the ability to be able to push it that little bit more. We saw a lot of amazing riding in qualifying yesterday, but I think we're very well aware that everyone across the board is capable, not to mention the fact that we only saw half of the teams ride yesterday. Like, now we're going to see the guys that ride the plaza are also going to have their take in the main room along with their teammates.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So they're going to be stepping it up today. Today is the finals. This is when it all counts. A lot of these guys want that big check at the end of the day. They want that big trophy. But let's take a look at just how this contest is going to be run.
Dan just let me basically do whatever I want, and I was like, let's keep it simple, peace, love, and positivity. I wanted it to just look really clean, kind of keep it like a dress shoe that felt really good to ride in. Artwork on the back that Thomas Hooper designed, embossed it into the synthetic leather. We put the BMX sole on there, which makes the slip-on even stronger. Seriously, the most durable shoe I've ever worn. Just turned into this ultimate strengthful shoe. I love it. I don't want to take it off. It's style meets durability. My favorite shoe I've ever worn.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about the teams that we're going to be seeing here, the top 5 teams from yesterday. As we said before, we narrowed it down from 8, and these guys are going to ride in reverse order. So you're going to see Team LAYOS going first. You're going to see Team HOBIE DOAN going second, and then the third team you're going to see is Team Brock Rayford. You're going to see the local, Mr. Stuart Chisholm and his team, and then of course UK legend Mr. Ben Wallace. Is it okay to call Ben Wallace a UK legend at this point?
He's a little bit older than me, so I'd say yeah, that's all right, yeah.
Sounds good. Well, you know, this is the Source Park. It's one of the UK's most unique indoor riding facilities. All the guys are psyched to be here. We're going to be seeing a lot of the park today, and what do you think we can expect? We've already talked a little bit about what to expect from the finals. You said a lot of these guys are going to be stepping things up. Do you think there's going to be 1 or 2 in particular tricks, or is it just going to be like the team effort now that you said like the whole team is riding the bull?
I think it's going to be very interesting to see the other guys with their take on it, because obviously they've been picked to ride the plaza because they're obviously more street, predominantly street riding aspects. So those guys coming into the main room today is going to be quite interesting because they're going to be using, like you said yesterday, there wasn't an awful lot of action towards the back end of the skate park. There was a lot going on in the bold and a lot of the transfers and stuff, but there wasn't a huge amount happening up towards the back end of the park where the street section is. So hopefully these guys are going to step it up and start dropping in on the back end of the park.
Well, yeah, I don't think you had to add hopefully. I think they definitely are going to be adding a lot more elements to today's competition. We're getting a look at Team Sergio LAYOS. We have Dan KRUK, Paul THOELEN, Mark BURNETT, and of course, Mr. Sergio LAYOS, who it's funny to see them as, kind of finishing a little bit lower in the standings, but because Sergio just definitely killed it, but some of the other guys in the plaza maybe not as good a placing as they want. But we got Team HOBIE DOAN, GASPAR GUENDULAIN, Nathan Williams, JAYDEN MUCHA, and of course HOBIE DOAN, the team captain. Good to see him as a captain out here. He's been crushing it lately.
First visit out to Hastings. Nice to see some fresh blood on the course. Speaking of fresh blood, Brett Silver doing it for Team Rayford, Gary Young, Jensen Murray, and of course team captain Brock Rayford, who is what you call a bit of a seasoned vet at Battle of Hastings. He's been to a number of the events. I'm sure it's up maybe 3 or 4. Don't quote me on that, but it's been a couple.
Your local guy, Stuart Chisholm, he's got his team, Joe Jarvis, Reed Stark, Alex Donachie, and of course the team captain himself, Stuart Chisholm. Now, Reed Stark and Joe Jarvis, they're a good, an interesting 1-2 punch. We saw Joe Jarvis in that best trick competition yesterday, and definitely some unique styles in that team for sure.
And then to cap it off, the final team is going to be Team Wallace, and doing it will be English lad Sam Jones, KEIRAN Reilly, Ollie Shields, and Ben Wallace. It's a full UK squad actually. I didn't even clock that till the last minute, my bad. But that's another really solid team going into the finals, and I can imagine the judges are going to have the work cut out for them today.
Yeah, absolutely. I just shared a coffee with Mr. Ruben Alcantara, and he's saying it's a stressful job out there trying to place these riders. And then of course you have what do you call him? Harsh Owen? Owen Clegg?
Harsh Owen used to exist back in the day. I went on a couple of trips with him when I was a lot younger, and people like Ed Allen referred to him as Harsh Owen, and I didn't quite understand why until it got a couple of days into the trip, and I realised you can get away with an awful lot back then. It seemed to be like that whole demeanour was incredible to be around. It was amazing.
And of course our third judge was Dave Cleworth, of course UK local as well. Now we're getting into how the finals are going to be run. We have 20 riders, 5 heats, 1 team per heat, 2 runs, a max of 50 seconds per riders, and they get 3 tries for last trick, so there is no best trick. It's 3 tries for your last trick. A max score per rider is 100. Scores from all 4 team riders added for the team score. The max team score of 400. Teams will be ranked 1 through 5, as you can see on your screen.
Dan just let me basically do whatever I want, and I was like, let's keep it simple, peace, love, and positivity. I wanted it to just look really clean, kind of keep it like a dress shoe that felt really good to ride in. Artwork on the back that Thomas Hooper designed, embossed it into the synthetic leather. We put the BMX sole on there, which makes the slip-on even stronger. Seriously, the most durable shoe I've ever worn. Just turned into this ultimate strengthful shoe. I love it. I don't want to take it off. It's style meets durability. My favorite shoe I've ever worn.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, get your coffee, get your tea, get ready to go. This is the Battle of Hastings 2021. Enjoy.
This is one of the best contests in BMX because we are packed to the roof with riders. You know what you like, you cheer everyone on, and that's what makes this event so special.
All right, Dan, it looks like we are ready to go. We got Daryl now and Andy Zeiss hyping up the crowd. Now, talk a little bit about the atmosphere here at Battle of Hastings. This competition is always one that the spectators love to come. I mean, the tickets sold out super fast, so everyone that's here is just super amped up and ready to get this thing going.
Yeah, it's amazing. I feel quite bad for the viewers at home through the live feed. It wasn't until I understood what the issue was as to why you can't actually hear everything. It's something to do with music licensing through YouTube. So that isn't on us, but the atmosphere is something that is captivating. It's an absolute massive push for all of the riders to get that done. It's almost like they made it to have those fiberglass screens on the side to make it, and it just absolutely erupts through the room.
Yeah, and you've ridden the finals here at this competition. You know how loud it gets inside that building. Do you feel an added sense of pressure if you're a rider to really perform for the local crowd here? Because they're just so amped up, and it's a BMX educated crowd, so they know what's up.
You do, especially when you got people like Daryl and Andy, who obviously I'm quite good friends with both of them, and obviously they've got a tendency to play on the whole local guy doing it for Hastings. I'm like, oh shit, like this is gonna suck. So yeah, especially for guys like Stuart Chisholm and a lot of the local guys around here, I imagine they're gonna get the same reception. It is overwhelming, but at the same time, it gives you that extra push to know it's finals. You're like, right, it's fucking game time, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see Daryl now has brought his white pants for the finals, always looking classy, always looking stylish, and Daryl now has become just a bit of a staple at just about any core BMX event. I just recently saw him at the Olympics, so he got to commentate there as well, and talk a little bit about Daryl and just like how his voice has become synonymous with so many of these events.
Well, it's almost like it's not an event. If you haven't got people like Daryl and Andy like working the mic, it's almost like it's not ever going to be quite the same. Daryl now out here looking like a pool player, both wearing the checkerboard shoes. Good to see repping the Vans, but like I said, it's the same thing. As soon as you get Andy and Daryl in the room, it is electric. Like they've both got an absolute way with words. They know exactly how to get the crowd going, and I wish on everything next year get to Battle of Hastings. If you want to be a part of it and know what it really truly is, just get here, do it.
Yeah, and buy those tickets early because they sell out really fast. We're getting a look at our judges right there from left to right. Dave Cleworth, kind of a UK guy, been around for a long time, and he judges a lot of the big time contests. Any contest you've seen on television in the last 2 or 3 years, Cleworth has been a judge at, so he knows what he's talking about. And what about this next guy, Ruben Alcantara? What's he done in BMX?
He has been the absolute pinnacle of what BMX truly embodies. Like he's like the most individual, unique style. Every part that he ever dropped was just completely groundbreaking in every sense of the word. He's pushed the boundaries in his own way for absolutely decades, and to obviously have him being able to be here to judge BMX for what it truly is, you know we've got the right eyes in the room to get it done.
And you have Owen Clegg as well, Harsh Owen, I will always call him now, a guy that he's truly a stickler for how he wants things to look. So, I mean, if any of these guys are getting loose, getting sketchy, Owen's going to take note of that for sure. And like Andy Zeiss is holding up the #1 trophy. That's what these guys are competing here for today. Everyone wants to go home with that trophy. And what a trophy it is. That's pretty unique looking.
You should probably pop some varnish on it when you get home, shouldn't you, really? Looks nice. Bit of varnish. Lovely.
So in addition to competing for the trophy, they are also competing for prize money that will be divvied up between the teams. And so they're not doing this just for free or just for the trophy, so they are competing for some dollars. And it's good to have a competition that's back that's going to pay some people, because it's been a long year where there have been really no events going on, and especially no core events going on. And we need things like this and BMX going on. We need things like Swamp Fest and Simple Session, core events that really bring BMX together.
Yeah, they're the kind of events that sort of pave the way for like anybody that's like thinking, hey, I need to do an event. Like, these are the ones that you use the base for. Like, especially Battle of Hastings, like, it encompasses so much within it. There's between the atmosphere, the riders that have come to Hastings. Hastings back in the day, like, has been for years. We had backyard jams here in like 2002 when I was like 14. So now to like see this, 17, 18 years down the line, to see, sat side by side by yourself, and seeing all these amazing riders come through Hastings to throw down in the park is unreal.
I took a little bike ride around Hastings and up into Brex Hill yesterday, and stumbled upon some pretty iconic street spots. The big kinked rail with the double set that yourself and so many other guys have gotten down on, that I've seen throughout the years. I had to snap a photo of it, and of course running into the statue of Boyle was really cool for me to see. RIP to Boyle, and shout out to his family and friends, who I hope are watching right now. So Hastings, it certainly is a town that is synonymous with BMX for sure.
It's got a lot of incredible history. Like I said before, when I was growing up as a kid, I'd ride down the street, I'd see Josh Stricker, Leland Thurman, I'd see Jimmy here. Like, especially when you come to, Dave Asato did the first ever whip to Foof at the Backyard Jam, at the Backyard Jam back in 2002, and I got to see that. And I think, Edwin De La Rosa was in Hastings in 2002. He did a 360 to Smith. Shout out Ed, what's up, boss? But that was I was standing right there and then. I think that was like the first ever 3 to Smith I saw as a kid, and it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And then now everyone gets to enjoy the same kind of feeling I got seeing all their favourite riders absolutely smash this place to pieces.
And you talk about the Backyard Jam and like the difference in so many of the riders. You talked about Dave Asato, and then you talk about Edwin De La Rosa, and I think we had that same kind of vibe here at the Source, at Battle of Hastings, because you have so many different styles coming together. I mean, and they really work hard to make sure that every style is really represented. You have your bowl riders, you have the plaza riders. We had guys that I've seen for the first time, guys like, I've never seen Ollie Shields ride in person, I've never seen Sam Jones ride in person, but then you have guys that are, super well known, like Ryan Nyquist coming to the battle. So it's just it's a testament to the caliber of invited riders and the different styles that we're going to see here today.
Yeah, kind of jealous really. Like, imagine brushing shoulders with some of these guys when you were like 18, 19 years old. You'd shit yourself at a contest, wouldn't you? I've got to imagine that's got to be quite unnerving as well, knowing that you're being pitted up against like people like, there's like Stu Chisholm, like he's a young lad like from Hastings, he's local. He's riding a contest with people like Ryan Nyquist and things like that. It's insane.
Yeah.
And it's such a broad spectrum of riders. It's great to see everyone come together and enjoy the same park and completely ride it in such a different way to everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail right on the head with that. And you can't say enough good things about the Source and the Source Park and anybody and everybody that helped bring this thing together, and of course our sponsors, who we'll be talking about throughout the broadcast today. And just getting really excited to get this thing underway. Just waiting for our first heat. It looks like everybody's ready. Daryl's still hyping up the crowd, maybe trying to let everyone get settled in a little bit, get your coffee, get your beer, and get set to go. I see Mark Burnett rolling up on the course, and we saw yesterday, like, Sergio LAYOS had his team in first place, and I think Sergio, and I don't want to just give all credit to him, I think he really pulled his team into the final. And you see, I mean, this is a team event, whereas like Mark Burnett and Dan KRUK didn't finish as high in the plaza competition. So, thankfully Sergio was able to do so well that he kind of pulled his team into the finals, and it'll be interesting to see, like you said a couple times now, you got Mark Burnett and Dan KRUK that are now going to be riding everything on the course. So it looks like, do we have our first rider coming in right now? I believe we do. Check it out. It's Dan KRUK. And I think Dan is going to be a guy we're going to see more so on this side of the course, getting a little bit to the back seat, jumping over that rail. Something he's known for, a trick that you're known for right there, Dan.
Nice pegs hard free, got to credit that. Came straight flying in with that one. Like you said, you're going to see a lot of Dan up at the back end of the course. Nice hang on 180.
And I don't think Dan had the showing that he wanted to in the best trick competition. Really struggled with that best trick. Didn't quite get a trick off that he wanted to do. So it looks like well, and then I jinx him. He goes a little bit OTB.
Shrugging it off, he's all right. He's got 2 more. What's he got? A couple more? He's got 1 more. Is it another one and a best trick, or is it a couple of runs, or what is it?
Well, let me look at my sheet here, Dan. I'll let you know how it goes. 2 runs and a max of 50 seconds per rider. So the next rider that drops in will be THOELEN, and he's going to have 50 seconds.
It's always such a difficult one. When you're riding, you never know how much time you've actually got left unless you can see it on a clock somewhere. So you're always like, oh, should I carry on, should I not? But dropping back in with THOELEN. Huge roast in that bowl. Oh, shit. Not happy about that, lad. You got time, you got time. Let's go, let's go.
Yeah, but when you fall at the beginning of a run like that, it's not easy to recover. I mean, it
sucks it out of you.
Yeah, it sucks the wind right out of you.
Doesn't seem to have slowed him down at all, though, going for that manual.
Yeah, you miss a beat, you lose the rhythm, and especially when you fall at the beginning of a run, you know, it takes the wind out of your sails. I've seen a few guys in my day like really come back and still have, you know, successful runs, but it's tough.
Still, like that crash hasn't stopped him looking real good in the bowl and stuff like that. There's that Manny fast plant switch 180, very nice. Nice way to cap it off. Weren't a great start, but still obviously out there enjoying himself. That's exactly what matters.
Coming in around 6'4", he's a big man. He's got a big bike and had some big airs. Unfortunately, he messed up, but we got Mark Burnett. Look, check that out.
Little bar over tooth ping. Burnett's still one of those cats, still rocking a cassette. Always credit that. Lovely whip, lad.
And it looks like he's borrowed his dad's jean shorts for today's competition.
This is a nice start to run from Burnett. 180 over, switchbacky peg. Rail ride bar. It's linking it together really well. This is a solid run, especially obviously like I said, we're seeing a lot more action up at the back end of the park this time. Not sure what that was, so I'll let him have that.
Now, Mark Burnett, I've always felt, has a tendency to make things look too easy. Look at that.
See, that didn't look like an issue at all for him. That's like a 7-foot bowl that you just do a Manny bump 180 into real quick.
He's just so casual with his riding. He makes everything look really good, makes it all look so easy, just out there chilling, having a good time. We saw him grind over the swamp at Swamp Fest just a few years ago and earn a spot to come to the Battle of Hastings. So awesome to have Mark Burnett out here right now. We know that his mom is at home watching right now, so shout out to Sue. And Sue's favorite rider is actually Ryan Nyquist, so I'm sure she enjoyed watching him ride. But we got Sergio Layos on the course right now.
So this is where we're going to see the differences in like those guys. Huge fast plant from Sergio, looking real good straight out the gate. Massive look back. Exactly what we want to see from Sergio. He's sticking to the bowl, he's handling this end while the other guys have got the back. Just tagging up a little bit there, pedaling the bowl, it's all right.
Uncharacteristic for Sergio to come up a little bit short like that, but regains his speed, jumps right back into the bowl.
Back at it. Oh, that transfer is unreal, going opposite. Pull back into the bowl.
Dark side, one-footed flat. Oh, and he's getting a little sideways.
Got a little bit of buck on that one, unlucky Sergio.
But certainly solid, a crowd favorite.
Massive crowd favourite. He's obviously been to Battle of Hastings before. He's won Battle of Hastings before. He's very popular rider in the building. A lot of speed, a lot of style, huge transfers. So not a bad first run. Little bit of a letdown at the end for him. But it happens. So he's got second run and best trick to still bring it out.
Yeah, and as you can see, mess ups happen to the best of them. I mean, hard to find a better bowl rider than Sergio. So you see, even that happens to everybody from time to time. Oh, and Dan KRUK goes down on the
foot jam.
On the foot jam.
Have a word, mate. Just slow down. It's all right. I can imagine it's panic, it's nerves, because when the hell would you see Dan KRUK not pull a foot jam? But pegs hard free, not an issue. Foot jam, issue.
It's like you said, nerves, man.
Yeah, but
nerves
like,
come into play.
He goes straight into his staple. Look, hang on, he's back. There you go. Come on, KRUK. Stop pissing about. Let's have it. Ice down the rail. He's turning back around. He's really sticking up that back end.
Got a unique setup to his bike. Those bars are pretty far forward. I know a lot of people in the BMX community would comment on that.
KRUK to half can. And I think he's going to call it.
I think this is Dan's first big major competition, so you got to assume that some of the nerves are definitely coming into play.
He's done like Dawn of the Streets, like those big like kind of street events that go off in like New York and places like that. I swear I've seen him there, like, you know, getting his fill and smashing stuff in. So it's a huge corner pocket. Paul DeLen coming back in.
Opposite around that curved wall, going his unnatural direction, flowing the park, looking good. Love the way he does that pocket air into the vert wall. He's going for that manual again. Pulls it around this time. No bitch cranks this time,
nice.
Dan.
No bitch cranks. I'm all right with that. Very nice. Going to switch back into the transfer.
Huge up
really
on the
good flowing
BMX.
lines in this run. Like, not putting a foot wrong at the moment. I don't want to jinx it, but he's looking real good at the minute.
Yeah, and like I said, your second run, he's probably feeling the fatigue a little bit after that first run. Had a few bobbles. Definitely want to get this run in. Fakie wall ride classic comes out of the back seat.
Paul DeLen, first visit to Battle of Hastings. Amazing. It's a good, solid second run after, you know, misfortune. You know, just unfortunate at the beginning of the run, you slip a pedal, have a hard time. But second run was looking good, so it'd be interesting to see what he comes up with best trick.
Yeah. And Mr. Mark Burnett, I like the way he starts this off. Bar spin over the rail, a little toothpick bonk.
It's crazy.
Very cool, very casual, always makes things look super easy. Doing it for all his friends up in upstate New York right now, Albany area, another town that's rich in BMX history. Look at all the bars.
He's hitting everything right now. That's going to be that's the sort of thing the judges are looking for. He's hitting absolutely everything on the way through. That 180 over backwards switch pegs again. Rail rides are probably looking for the tail if they're unlucky, mate. But another really good, solid, like what you call like the plaza aspect kind of run from Mark Burnett, while Sergio and Paul obviously take care of things in the bowl.
Yeah, it's like we talked about yesterday. You got to stick to your strengths. You know that Mark Burnett can ride the bowl, but
threw in a bar on the tap 180 this time. That's another solid run. Sergio coming in and. Polite Sergio doing the congratulations. I love how polite Sergio is. He's brilliant.
So nice. Such a nice guy. But yeah, what we saw was that bar spin tail tap, and then he goes in fakie to the 7-foot extension there. Makes it look easy, but trust me, that is no joke. Sergio's in. He's going 100 miles an hour here. One-footed X up, downside, into the SourceBMX, curved wall, in and out, quick as you like, clean as you like. Downside tail whip into the vert wall. Are you kidding me?
Sergio is stepping it up. This is finals right now. Sergio knows the drill. He's done it before. He knows what's good. That downside whip was absolutely incredible. I'm 100% certain I was talking to someone about him doing that one year. Oh my God, turn down, back in, hitting all the lines. This run is going to be a banger.
That downside tail up into the vert wall was a thing of beauty. Sergio's got one of the best downside tail ups in the game, right? And he comes out of the back.
Slipping out, Sergio, that was an incredible run. Take a bow, my friend. Take a fucking bow. That was amazing.
And once again, you know, whether his team wins, whether they get last place, it doesn't matter, because everyone is always going to remember Sergio's riding. You're always going to talk, anyone here is going to talk about that downside whip into the vert wall for years to come. So, you know, those are the memories that you build when you come to an event like this. So, very awesome riding, very impressive riding, always from Mr. Sergio Layos.
That's giving me the chills. That was incredible to see that again, being able to relive it. Obviously, I didn't have quite the same perspective. I remember being sat, I remember being stood almost sort of like where Andy and Daryl are now, when I just see Sergio kick that whip a couple of years ago. So he came back swinging. He knew it was finals. He came out absolutely and had it. Amazing.
Yeah, always fun to watch, never disappointing. So now we're getting into the last tricks. This is not best tricks, this is last tricks. Each rider only gets 3 attempts at their last tricks. Let's see what Dan's got. Oh, looks like he wants something out of that.
I'm calling either Pegs Hard Truck or Pegs Hard 5. I'll be disappointed if it's neither. It's Pegs Hard something.
Pegs Hard 360 with, you think, with the bars?
Either a Peg Hard Truck or a Peg Hard 5.
Ah!
He's looking for that 5. It's going to be quite a tight one getting through there because like the new obstacles, the way everything lines up. I think if he leans through it, he ain't going to have an issue doing it. I've literally seen him do that sort of stuff on flat rails. So this has got a nice little incline for him to hit. So I reckon just have a breather.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, this is his last judged attempt. He could keep going if he wants, but it's not going to count if he pulls it after this attempt. So with the atmosphere, everyone here wants to see him pull it one way or another, whether it's this attempt or it's 10 attempts from now. And we're usually pretty good about giving our guys some time.
So here we go, KRUK setting up for this last and final attempt.
Oh!
He's got to go back and do that for the glory. He has to go back and do that.
He was right there.
Literally, that was so close. That was unfortunate. I feel kind of bad for him. That was really unfortunate, especially to land into the bank's kind of steep to land into fake as well, especially after a rotation like that. It's going to be quite a difficult one to control as you're coming around. But yeah, I'm hoping that he still gets that one, despite the fact that it's not going to count towards his team score.
Looked like he just under-rotated it just a little bit. And that bank, like you said, is steep, and he's got to stay within like kind of a narrow corridor.
If he hits that and comes down it like almost perfectly straight, he's going to be absolutely cooking. Coming fakey down that. This is it.
Oh. Now,
come on, dude, you got time. We're not going anywhere.
Dan, you're sitting beside a guy that's never done a pegs to hard 360 in his life, so do you have to like kind of wind up when you're on the rail and kind of get your power?
I've tried a Pegs Hard 5 off like the steepest up rail going 100 mile an hour, and I just could not figure out. I see Donachie does them for a laugh up like you know, I think I'm blaming it on the back end. All these tiny back ends you cats have got now are just ridiculous. I feel like it should be made like illegal or something. It makes everything so much easier. So yeah, I'm blaming it on that. Back end comes around so much easier, but it's such a wrench getting out of it. But yeah, Paul THOELEN, first tee, not an issue. Fast plant 360 on the wall, amazing. Good way to cap it off. It was almost a little bit like, oh, he just kind of did that. That was chill.
Almost a little bit too easy for Mr. Paul THOELEN.
You got 2 more attempts or something. Go again, dude. I'll be like, fuck it, go.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to chill. He's up there and giving people hugs.
Like, nah. Sergio's like, you do it. It's fine.
And Mr. Mark Burnett, Captain Casual, back on course. Looks like he's going to go for his
Always
last
interested
3.
to see what Burnett's got in store, because he has got a lot in the bag.
Looks like he wants to go tires up that.
Some sort of tires to something. He's feeling it. Come on, bruv. Very intense eyebrows. You got this. Oh my God! That was absolutely amazing. I'm pretty sure that might have been what he wanted to do.
It looked for a second like he wanted to come out of it with something.
Nose maybe, but he's quite, yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I'm good.
And you know what? He still has another attempt if he wants it, but he's happy with that.
Paul THOELEN, Mark Burnett, they dropped the shit. They're good. They know what's that. Hey, yeah, I'm out. So I'm good.
Works for me. If it works for them, all good.
That was amazing. So that was a tire ride, alley-oop 180 to switch Smith, pop up into the bank. Okay, yeah, because there was a bank. He popped up into the bank after the Smith. That's legit.
All right.
Sergio's pointing somewhere, and people are. You probably see the photographers scrambling and Fudge are tripping over something in a minute. But here we go, Sergio LAYOS, never playing games.
Oh, does he want something out of the wall, you think?
It's interesting to note that the fact that Sergio doesn't actually ride brakes anymore. So that massive downside whip, he kicked that and caught it without pulling his brakes.
That's all commitment.
Straight to pedals, might I add.
Go Sergio in.
Oh my God, a brakeless wall tap to turn down in. I'm pretty sure he's going to be happy with that. That was completely so much more going on there than anyone could possibly imagine. So he's not only doing a brakeless wall tap up on a wall that's probably 7 feet, 8 feet up, dropping the turn down in on the way in. Amazing.
And that's not an easy wall-to-wall tap either. For anyone watching at home, that thing is so close. And with a wall tap, you're usually pushing in with all your might. And with that one, with coming out of that quarter, you got to pull straight up, and the wall is right there. So it's a really tight wall ride.
That is gonna round it out for Heat 1. That was amazing. Sergio came out absolutely swinging. Amazing to see Mark and Mark and Dan KRUK, my bad. Mark and Dan KRUK handling business up the back end of the park. I think everyone landed their tricks. Oh, my bad, Dan KRUK. Unfortunately, Dan KRUK didn't manage to pull through with that one, but I think it was inside 2 tries, everyone else, wasn't it?
Yeah, if you're going to set
Amazing.
a final off, that's the way you want to do it. I mean, we saw the street riding, we saw the bowl riding, we saw a little bit of everything, and we have so much more to go, Dan. And were you a little bit disappointed that Dan KRUK didn't go back and maybe give that
I think the problem is that's the beauty of Battle of Hastings. Like, it gives you that opportunity to, despite the fact it's after time or whatever, no one's going to judge you for the fact that you want to get it done for the fans. Like, I would have liked to have seen him walk away with that. I'm probably going to grab hold of him later on and tell him, next time just go and do it. Don't worry about everyone else. Like, everyone else will wait. It's fine. We've only got 4 more teams today. I'm sure that there's going to be a couple of people taking extra tries for the glory, and I won't blame them at all. It's always good to see that stuff. But yeah, that was a solid first heat, and that has set the bar pretty high actually. If you think about it, Sergio, the bowl, Mark looking real nice up there. Solid runs. Literally didn't put a foot wrong at any point. It was really good run.
No, it looked good to me. Of course, we're sitting in here drinking coffee, so everything looks easy to us. Well, I'm drinking coffee. My co-host is enjoying the free beer. Thank you, Source Park, for the freebies. But one thing we haven't talked about a lot is the plaza section of this competition, and we're going to get into seeing a few of these plaza videos. And we're actually going to start things off with the third place team, or the people that got third place in the plaza competition. Let's check out some of these videos.
Looking good.
And here we are, we're back in the park now after seeing the third place Plaza team. That was Nathan Williams and HOBIE DOAN bringing their own flavour to the Plaza. It's been really interesting, especially seeing, like, you know, there's only so much that these riders can continuously do. So to see these guys switching it up and always bringing something new today, especially Nathan. Nathan's been in the Plaza, and I think Nathan's been in the top 3 in the Plaza edits since he's been coming here, which is it's not a bad statistic, really, is it?
No, not at all, especially a guy like Nathan, who's one of the biggest heavy hitters in street right now. I mean, you think about the year that he had last year, the video parts that he put out, all the content he was putting out over and over, so it's no surprise to me and probably yourself that he is always consistently in that top 3. But also we got to talk about HOBIE DOAN, kind of a relatively newcomer to the Source, to Battle of Hastings. Awesome to see him here. He's been putting out a lot of great content, you know, switched sponsors at the beginning of the year, and now he's, you know, really charging on all cylinders, been able to travel and film a ton. So awesome to have Nathan and HOBIE here. Awesome to see their Plaza edit. It's hard to believe that was 3rd place because it was so freaking good. But now we also get to see Nathan and HOBIE ride in the, well, I don't want to say the bowl section, but in the main park.
Main park, yeah. So they have Daryl now and Andy Zeiss getting the crowd ready for what we are going to see in heat number 2. GASPAR GUENDULAIN, Nathan Williams, JAYDEN MUCHA and HOBIE DOAN are going to be holding it down for heat number 2.
I'd really like to see Gaspar put it together today. Looked like he was struggling a little bit yesterday. And I said it yesterday, he's a rider that really, when he's on, he's on. And when he messes up, when he's on, you could just see like it takes a lot out of him, and it's hard for him to recover. But we got Gaspar on course right now.
And there you go. He's straight out of the bat. You said you wanted to see him start putting it together. Rail ride to whip first thing. It's not a bad way to start your run at all, mate. Pegs up. There's a switch bar out of that pegs up then, I'm pretty sure. Don't want to get any of this wrong. I'll get the shit for it later. Nollie bar in. Nice floaty little free over it. Sticking to the back end of the course this time. I remember there was a couple of the boys yesterday decided to try their luck in the bowl. But obviously he seems a lot more comfortable today up at the back end of the park. There's that nose 180 first try. He had a couple of scuff ups with that yesterday, but he's literally putting together a solid first run. Nice little undercoping flare. Don't bother if you're going to do that at the end of it. You were on a roll, lads. Undercoping flare strikes again.
Yeah, no need to do that flare at the end. We talked about harsh criticism before. There you go. Mr. Dan Lacey calls it as he sees it. But overall, that was still a really good run from Gaspar.
I'm not taking away from it. That run was absolute gold. Just leave the flare at home.
Love the nose to 180 down the ledge. That was stellar. Like you said, he messed up a few times on that yesterday, so he gets it done first try today. And, a better showing.
I'd be real
today.
hyped on that run. Everything was bang, bang, bang. And speaking of bang, here comes Nathan Williams for his first run. And no game straight away. Oh, my God. Huge Smith up on the Vero wall. That is still the Vero wall, isn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. Coming back in. Wasting absolutely no time getting around. He's already done a lap of the park. Over crank, bar air. Switch whip. Oh my God, Nathan is absolutely smashing it at the minute. It's going to be him and Gaspar have absolutely come out swinging for Team HOBIE DOAN at the minute in this second heat.
Just the consistency that he's showing on some of these tricks is just mind-blowing. Like, you shouldn't be able to do some of this stuff first try. Of course, I jinx him as he goes down.
Just slipping a peg on a nollie KRUK. Just an FYI for everyone out there, I've never managed to do a straight KRUK, so I know how absolutely rough a nollie KRUK can imagine to be. Tooth over 180, nice little quick turnaround. Nathan's still having fun with it, whip dropping, smoothest whips, let's go. Nathan's still cruising around.
And that Smith on the Vero wall, that is...
What a way to start a run. Amazing.
And he grinded for a good distance on that. There's no coping up there. He slid on... It was pegs on wood.
That's pegs on wood.
And,
that's dangerous territory.
Actually saw him do that in practice, and he just kind of stalled it and then dropped in. But that, in his run, he slid that thing. We got Mr. Jayden MUCHA, got that shoulder taped up, bare-chested. Showing you the front flip.
Straight in with that front flip again, straight into a bar air, catching loads of speed on that one. All these guys have come out absolutely blasting. First things of their run, dropping an absolute heater.
Yeah, Jayden, another newcomer to the source. Just flowing the bowl. He's covered a lot of ground so far. There's that downside, dark side, one-footed X up. Saw him do a wall ride to flare on the wall yesterday. Let's see if he brings that one out today.
Airing right out the verbal there. That's no joke. Linking the lines really, really well after that screaming start. He's looking like slowing it down a little bit, looking for a bar over the transfer. Real nice.
Yeah, it looked like he missed a little bit of the transition on the jump in, so he just came right back for more.
Straight back into the pump though. He's found his pump straight away. He's going to wave it off. That's a solid first run.
It's a good phrase. Is that NYQUIST drinking a beer right there in the background? Just supporting the
I'm pretty sure that
crew out
was.
there? All right.
All right, maybe NYQUIST like, get a camera off, get a camera off here. I don't want to see him drinking a beer. Laced with Rockstar, it's all good. HOBIE, team captain HOBIE DOAN dropping in for his first visit to the skate park aspect of the course. Woo. Love that. Foot jam over can, foot jam. That's a classic. Looking good, HOBIE.
Yeah, a lot of originality from HOBIE DOAN. A lot of skill. Look at this.
Ice down, linking the manual up. Here we go. Over pegs. Very nice.
Looked like he wanted to go over to ice pick, just drop that front peg a little bit, but still link that whole line up together. You know, the judges still take that into account.
Still looking good out here, HOBIE. You got nothing but time, my G. Tires down, looking for the manual. Foot jam, fakie. That was divine. Go on, my G. Go get your high fives. Collect them bad boys. Let's go.
Shouldn't be the type of thing that you do first try.
No.
Double tire down to manual to toe jam, coming in fakie on a very steep quarter. Just clean as you like, easy as you like.
Team HOBIE DOAN. First runs absolutely laid it down. After seeing that first heat go down, I thought it's going to be a tough one to crack after this, but everyone is keeping the pace going. So we're heading back up to the top of the list, and GASPAR GUENDULAIN is going to show us what he's got. Switch hanger bar straight in. Let's go. Oh, but can't do a tire tap. That sucks.
In GASPAR's defense, the tire tap is a lot harder when you have no brakes and you have a free coaster.
He's got a coaster, all right. All right, let him have that.
You're just up there just kind of balancing yourself out.
Rail ride switch bar. But do you know what I mean? Like the level of being able to do those kind of tricks and something like a tail tap causes you an issue. Rail ride up the rail with absolutely, I didn't think he had enough speed to do something like that. Nose bump bar straight over that. He's absolutely on fire again. Yeah, one little slip up, he's back at it again. Another banging run from GASPAR. He's probably got a few seconds left in this run. He could probably lay it off with something at the end.
Yeah, and true to what you said, how did he get up that rail? It looked like he did not have the speed for it.
Oh my God, literally the slowest locked in manual. Unfortunately, he didn't get that one at the end, but a second visit to the course, you cannot be sad about that, GASPAR. Well in, bruv.
Now up next is Nathan Williams. Does he start his runoff in the same way that he did before? If he's in the same place?
Why would he not? It's Nathan. The kid is ridiculous.
Yeah, and talk about, like, I mean, he's got the Nora Cups last year. He's put out multiple video parts, so much content. Oh! Just going for that wall ride that time, steps out of it.
Came out with that Smith with a bit more speed, maybe just overshot the wall ride on the back end of it, but you've still got nothing but time. You've got a solid first run in the bank, mate. Just keep it going.
I know we're still on second runs, but I'm already looking forward to what Nathan has for his final trick. I love this right here.
Round right switch whip. Between Nathan and Sean Sexton, shout out Sean Sexton, you are the G, has the greatest switch whip in BMX ever.
The best switch whip.
Oh, just getting a little bit bucked out on a switch Smith hard there, but another solid run from Nathan. He probably might still keep it going. Nathan knows the drill, he knows how it works. He ain't wasting no time. Maybe. Unlucky dude, that was... it's always difficult, especially when you get to the last run. You've had a couple of little slip-ups, and you're like, oh, maybe I should use this last 10 seconds, and sometimes it's just beating out of you, but can't complain with that. 2 solid visits to the course, and dropping straight back in is JAYDEN MUCHA.
Loves this front flip.
Let's go. Fronty, not a problem.
Foot comes off, unfortunately.
The feet off.
the thing about Jayden. Jayden said he wasn't going to ride this weekend. He is just casing that transfer. He told me he wasn't going to ride. His flight was already booked. He's like, you know, I'll come and I'll hang out. I'll cheer on my friends, but I'm not going to ride. My shoulder's blowing out, and he just muscled through it. And apparently the shoulder's not affecting him too much because it looks like he's doing okay. That's the power of being only 19 years old. You recover a lot faster.
Yeah, definitely bounce when you crash. I stopped doing that 10 years ago. Still looking good, even with that shoulder strapped up, he's still looking real. That was nice, little air into the vert wall, popping back in. There's another solid visit from Jayden MUCHA. First time in Battle of Hastings. Welcome, my G.
Yeah, not as good. I think his first run was quite a bit better. Definitely had some slip-ups there in run number 2, but he's got a final trick. I know that Jayden has a lot of crazy tricks up his sleeve, so really looking forward to watching his final trick. And remember, they get 3 attempts at it, so if it doesn't work out in the first or second try, you got that 3rd attempt to make it happen. And then, of course, if you want to go on after that and keep the good times going, do it for the crowd. But we got HOBIE DOAN dropping in. Love this line right here.
Big free fakie, just getting stuck on the flat bank there. Always got a smile on his face, so that's all that matters. Popping up, this is the last run for HOBIE DOAN before he has his last tricks. Going for ice up the rail, just dropping the peg.
It doesn't look like they ever have the speed to get up that rail. They just kind of...
It's a difficult line to hit. Manual down the rail, not an issue. Coming straight back, there's HOBIE. Come on, dude, let's go.
Manual down a round rail, mind you. I mean, yeah, if it's square, it's a little bit easier, but...
just getting back on the tyres up there. HOBIE DOAN, ladies and gentlemen. First visit to Battle of Hastings. There's a lot of first visits here this time, especially like a lot of cats. Like I've known HOBIE a long time, but not actually personally. I've never personally met him. He's been to hang out with the Dub crew up in Liverpool. Quite a lot. Shout out Dub. But he went up and hung out with them guys for a couple of months, and then I just missed him as he came back, and this is the first time I've actually met him, and his energy is quite electric, so he's a fun dude to be around. So getting to see him ride here today, still smiling, couple of crashes, and I guess now we're moving into the final tricks for this heat.
Yeah, what's Gaspar got up his sleeve? Maybe he'll pull the tail tap.
There you go.
Tires up, opposite bar.
Tires up, oppie bar. He's not happy. I'll take that as an attempt because I'm sure that shake of the head is very telling that he wants something else, Chris.
Looks a little bit more comfortable today than he did yesterday. Yesterday he just seemed like he was kind of out of his element a little bit. Maybe like, you know, first big major competition. I've seen him at simple sessions before, but I mean, this is, you know, a core event. Everyone here knows BMX.
Oh my God. That changed quite dramatically from a tyres up to bar to a tyres up 180 switch down whip. I'm not quite sure if I've actually ever seen that before. I've seen homie Dan Paley and obviously Garrett doing the pegs to 180 hardway switch 180 down whip, but I've never seen it out of a tyre straight up the rail. That seems ridiculous.
Here we go.
Oh no, that was just devastating.
You know, I would love to see him give us a few more attempts.
Man. If anyone's in that room, tell these dudes to stop waving off after their first attempt. I'm sat in this room. I want to see this shit. Come on, man. Someone grab hold of Daryl. Be like, Daryl, shout at these kids. Make them get this shit done. Come on. Yes, bro. There you go. This is going to be a wild one.
It looked like he was right there, honestly. Maybe he's like trying to go for a little bit more speed if he can.
He's trying to find that. He's finding the right line into that because the transition drops round weird on the corner.
Yeah, it's so tight there.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have enough speed just dropping straight. He needs to like hit that straight in and almost try and find it. But this is going to be an absolute Melton John if he gets this one.
I'm sorry, Melton John?
Melton John, my friend.
Yeah, we're not talking square rails either. This is a round rail. Do people put wax on that thing?
I think that, like, because they're quite new rails, they got waxed when they first went in. Because I think obviously because of the welding and stuff made them a little bit sticky. But I mean, I saw a couple of people trying to ice it today and dropping the front pegs. I don't think it's as slick as you'd imagine. But Gaspar almost absolutely frying brains there with his final trick, and This is the one I've been waiting for. Nathan Williams' final trick. Literally, rail rides, 180 over absolutely everything, all the way to flat. Rail rides is something that's never made sense to me, ever.
Especially going that fast.
Oh, it's absolutely terrifying. I'll like snail along next to the flat bar in the plaza and maybe, you know, pitch on it a little bit, it's fine. But the way Nathan comes in at full speed, head on, straight into something, and then the confidence that Nathan has in his riding ability is absolutely incredible.
And when you're 180ing or 360ing out of something, it's nice to have an opportunity to carve, and you have no room to carve on a round rail like that, and he's got it. Oh!
Second try. Of course he did. Second try. Nathan Williams. Would you expect anything less? I
would love to see some replays if that was possible, but I mean, going at that rail with some serious heat, enough speed to clear, what would you call that, like 10, 15 feet down?
At least, down the slope, straight to flat, over absolutely everything. I mean, you can see... Nathan Williams, take a bow, my friend.
Showing you why he is the Nora Cup Rider of the Year.
Are we going to see... I think he's straight out of the bat, just done the wall ride, the bump jump flare, maybe.
Oh, so it's just that easy, huh?
Literally just did it, like, yeah. I'm out. Mic drop. Peace. JAYDEN MUCHA. Well in, bruv. Nice way to do it. I think even I think a lot of people are actually laughing as well. Like thinking, oh, okay, just like that. Nice one. Yeah. First try.
Too easy.
It's always nice to do it first tee, but it always catches everyone a bit off guard. Oh, I wasn't actually expecting that. Did you mean to do that? Yeah, I did actually. Thank you very much.
And we've both been in those positions before where something doesn't work out first, second, third try, and then you just get stuck in broken record mode. Hey, just pull it first try and you're fine.
Yeah, I'll remember that next time. HOBIE DOAN, this is going to be an interesting one. He's got a lot of a real unique style, and he looks at everything like very differently to everyone else. This is going to be a wild last trick for HOBIE DOAN.
Look at that speed, huge gap to wall ride. Does he want more out of that?
He ain't done. He ain't done. You can tell the look in the eyes. You catch the eyes. You can see it. What do you think? 180? Looking for the 180 out?
I'm thinking 180. Big wall.
Oh, dude, don't leave him hanging. Oh no! All right, he got him. He got him just at the last minute. That was rough. Camera angle changed and he made him look so bad.
Here we go. Big gap wall. That's a lot of downforce coming out of that wall. He's got one more attempt though.
Yeah, Dan KRUK's like, yeah, just turn the shoulder.
Yeah, just do 180. It's just that easy.
Just do what I do. Just turn the shoulder and pull. It's fine.
But like I was mentioning before, you hit that wall and there's so much downforce just pushing him down towards the ground.
It sucks all your trajectory out of it. You just have to, because the way he's coming in as well, he's coming like back wheel higher than the front, so obviously it's like driving straight towards the floor. But as you can see, the crowd are getting behind HOBIE on this last attempt.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chris. Like, it is a lot with the angle he's coming at the wall at. It's almost like, and also what you can't see at home as well. I only know this because I've been to this park a million times. But just above where the spot, like just below where the sponsorship logos, where he was landing his tires, there's a little ridge that sticks out. That if you land on it or just above it, your front was going to be at a different angle to your back, so it'd be quite difficult to go off of there. But nonetheless, heat number 2 was absolutely incredible. Team HOBIE DOAN bringing the heat. After, especially seeing heat number 1, where we were committed by looking at Sergio and everyone driving, was absolutely incredible. And heat number 2, Team HOBIE DOAN did not disappoint and came up with the goods.
Yeah, hard to find fault in any of those guys riding. I wish Gaspar had given it a little bit more attempts on that wall. The rail ride up to downside tail 180. That would have been really cool. Get it for the crowd. Get it for us.
Yeah, there needs to be more of that. If anyone can memo this through to Andy and Daryl, just give them a tap on the shoulder. Whenever someone walks away from their third attempt, say, no, I'm good. They'll be like, no, you go do it. Go get it back and do it. That's why you're here. People want to see this shit. I want to see it. Let's go. I'm sure you'll walk away feeling a lot better for it if you do it. It's like, oh, I wish I'd done. I guarantee you later on I'll come up to you and I'll say, don't you wish you did that? Like, yeah, I kind of wish I did actually. Just do it then. Go back and do it. We'll wait. We'll happily wait till whenever. We just want to see this. So let's get it done. Yeah. Let's go.
Dan says it best yet again, and I think Gaspar would have been a little bit more comfortable maybe in the plaza section of the competition, but nevertheless, awesome to see him here. Once again,
Amazing.
Nathan Williams, Jaden MUCHA, HOBIE DOAN, doing it for Team HOBIE DOAN. Awesome to have HOBIE as a captain, really leading his team and qualifying into the finals. Just to be in the finals, you're in the big show. You know, this is Battle of Hastings, and everyone wants to be here. So
Heat number 2. That's it. We've got 3 more to go. Let's have it.
Coming up, we got another Plaza video for you guys. We have the second place team, Sam Jones and Mr. Ollie Shields. Enjoy. Now, what you just saw was the Plaza video from Mr. Sam Jones and Ollie Shields. We're going to see them later in today's competition. They actually, they're the first place qualifying team, which was Team Wallace. So we'll see Sam Jones and Ollie Shields a little bit later. And to me, it looked like Ollie Shields was doing a lot of opposite things. Or is he just a goofy-footed rider?
He's shit-footed, mate.
Okay.
He's shit-footed. I'm not having that. No, like, fair play. There's a lot of stuff going on there, but just to reiterate, he is cack-footed.
Okay.
One of them.
Sounds good. I was going to give him credit for doing a lot of things opposite because
you'd like to think so. I think he can. The crazy thing is, if he does do a lot of stuff, like he's ambidextrous. He's almost like weird on his bike. He does stuff a certain way and then like grinds the other way, pegs on the wrong side. But yeah, like you always have one of those cats that were like around you, like this weird guy. Oh yeah, he's got his pegs on the wrong side, but he runs his feet the wrong way forward as well. I think that's what his gig is.
Okay.
But handles it quite well.
All right. I mean, I know there's a lot of guys out there like Felix Prangenberg who switches his feet up a lot, and it's so hard to tell, especially from a commentating
Nathan as
standpoint.
Well. Nathan annoys me with that stuff.
Hey, but we got Heat 3 coming up. We got Brett Silva, Gary Young, Jensen Murray, and of course Brock Rayford doing it for Team Brock Rayford. Now this is going to be, we got some bangers in here. Brett Silva is a guy that a lot of people have been talking about for Battle of Hastings because he puts out so much amazing content. A lot of people really wanted to see him ride. I'm really excited to see him ride, and of course we got Gary Young, Jensen Murray, a name that's not as well known as some of these guys in the heat, and then of course Brock Rayford, who has had such a stellar year, just coming hot off the heels of the Dawn of the Streets out there in New York City. Did a few of my co-hosts already been done, so
ABDs.
Not to call anybody out, but just to show you the caliber of Dan Lacey's riding, and if if you've done anything that Dan Lacey's done, you put that in your pocket and save it for a rainy day, because that's a big accomplishment.
Years ago. But it is going to be an interesting one for sure, because as many times as I've actually been to Austin, Texas, because I've been there a few times. Shout out to Chase, Lauren, Sage. They're obviously their new kids. I'm usually out there like quite a lot during the year. And obviously I bump into Brett all the time, and I never actually see Brett ride in person. Like, I'll see him out and about, I'll bump into him at a bar, I'll bump into him like when we're out for food, but I'll never bump into him at House Park or somewhere like that. He's always off doing something like that, because he's, like you said, he's always out like getting content, he's always on trips, he's doing stuff. So getting to see Brett Silver ride this park is going to be amazing. And Gary Young, always a massive fan favourite here, and like you said, Jensen Murray's another new cat to the field. And team captain Brock Rayford is obviously a seasoned vet at Battle Hastings, so it's going to be a good one to see what he's got.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching Brett ride earlier. Look for a lot of toboggan tricks. He has a solid toboggan. I feel like the toboggan is probably one of the most butchered tricks in all of BMX, but he knows how to dip a toboggan. If you're turning the bars and grabbing the seat, that's not a toboggan. You got to dip that thing low. So watch the way that he does this. Brett Silva has the most proper toboggan in BMX right now.
Brett coming straight in as a speedy nollie switch bar to tap real quick, linking them up really good. Oh, Smith to tapes. Now that is a grind to tapes. You don't see many people doing a full table out of a grind at the minute, not naming any names, but Brett Silva just gave us a perfect example of how you should be doing it.
Yeah, that was a thing of beauty. Whoa, go ahead.
Ice up Superman. Didn't
Ice
quite
up
get the
to
feet back
Superman.
on. Real good, solid first run from Brett Silva, first visit to the course. Obviously, as you know, like we obviously see him he was riding in the plaza, so we didn't see him ride the main park yesterday.
There's that nose to toboggan.
Nose toboggan quick.
Yeah,
It's very telling how exhausting it is for you. Like, do a couple of laps in the park and you're like, Jesus, man, like, yeah, almost having to like take a few seconds off your time to like recoup a little bit. But I think we might be moving on to the next rider in our heat, which is Mr. Gary Young. Took a massive, he looks a lot better today, lad. Yeah. Well in, he's had some ice on it, still got a bit of a but he's all right. Coming in hot straight away as well with classic Gary lines.
Oh.
Bonking that back wheel up on top of that terrifying vert wall.
Just pulling out of that curved wall. Oh, big 180 into that steep vert wall. Gary rides with a lot of speed.
Oh my God, Gary catching it on the way in. Now, I want to say that was an intentional back wheel bump into that, because that is just Gary all over. One-handed flatty in the corner. Gary has literally just turned it up a notch. He's still going.
Gosh, just almost missing that hand coming into the wall. And the thing that we have to note is that he did look backs in both directions, and both of them were clicked. Wall coming down the ledge, 180 out, showing you the diversity. You know, people don't talk about Gary riding street a whole lot just because he can ride a bowl so well, but I mean, he can kill it on the streets if he wants to.
Ice pick down the harbor first tee. See a couple of street cats struggling with the ice picks earlier, and Gary's just like, man, I'll chuck it in at the end. But that was an amazing first visit to the course from Gary Young. A lot of speed, a lot of transfers, exactly what you'd expect from Gary. So I'd imagine his second run he's going to take it up another notch, I reckon.
Yeah, and I love the look backs in both directions. Doing turn downs your opposite way, it feels so impossible, and to be able to click it in both directions like that is pretty awesome. But right on the course, we have Jensen Murray coming in. Whoa! Tires up, bar spin to one-hander. Classic trick right there.
Just a nice little nose press up there, showing a nice bit of control, straight into a...
It's always risky to try to throw those nose wheelies in the middle of your run like that. Casual tail whip.
That was a nice pedal catch whip. It's always a lot of appreciation for a straight pedal catcher.
That nose wheel
back
again.
for that nose.
All right.
Oh, he's up for it. He's up for it. Let's go. Oh, but he can't fakey. Unlucky, man. Looking good though. Still smiling, lad. Look, take your headphones out and you know where you're at. I don't know how kids do it with like ride with both headphones in. Like, I think I did it as a kid for like one time, but still wants this 180 nose. Get the fakie. There you
All
go.
right.
Straight line. More like it. Nice way to close off the run.
So consistent on the nose wheelie. That is so hard. You got a nose wheelie on you?
Nah, I used to. I forgot. It's the same. It's only like 180 bars, nose wheelies, shit like that. If I don't do it often enough, I'll take a big risk and do like a full speed one down like a hobble ledge or some shit. But you know, you see people like Courage doing them for a laugh, and it's just like, all right, we get it. You can nose wheelie, like, you know. But some people have just got that ability to just stick them. And Brock Rayford sticking it straight out of bars, pegs, hard way, straight out of gate.
Just letting his presence be known, showing you why he's team captain of this team. Whoa!
Switch pegs, tail whip.
He popped that tail whip so high out of the opposite pegs there.
Smith hard way, looking for the pegs, 180 over hard way. So, you know, that's such a hard one to do too. It's a really weird position. Got to be in a little truck hop in for good measure. Heading towards the bowl. It's dangerous territory, Brock. Let's go.
All right.
Nice table transfer, looking good since yesterday. You've been practicing that one, mate. Corner pocket, throwing himself into that one. What do you call that? Is that like a slow bar, like where you pass it around really slow?
I think people just call it the slow bar.
The slow bar. That's what I'm calling it.
Or I guess you could just call it a bus driver. There's our
Brock
180 on, 360 in.
Didn't put a foot wrong in that run. Came down the bowl. Like, I know he had a little bit of a rough time. He isn't in qualified and pissing around in the bowl, but he looked right in there, waving that one off. Nice one, Brock.
Yeah, that was a solid run. He had all the street elements. He got into the bowl. He did some unique, original tricks, some original lines. So awesome first showing from a lot of these guys in our third heat.
I think we're going to be taking it back up to the top again. So we got Brett Silver dropping in with his second run. Big pop 360 with the bars up in his tits. Bar spin dropping. There's that toboggan that you were talking about earlier, Chris.
Yeah, it's almost like he was a dirt jumper in another life. I mean, he's got a lot of these dirt jumping tricks. Toboggan to ice pick grind. That's one we haven't seen yet. Loving the tabletops. Yeah, he's got a lot of classic jumping tricks. We saw a bar spin to X up, not something you really see on the streets.
It's a very Dirt Brothers-esque tabletop as well, like proper, like, now that straight out the gate, 360 Manny Wanna is not an easy task with no brakes. Does he run a coaster as well?
I can't accurately comment on that. I don't know if that's a coaster or not.
We can't hear the audio just like you can't, so I can't even hear if he's running a free coaster or a cassette or what. But regardless, brakeless free to Manny one tap is pretty ridiculous. At the end of your run.
At the end of the run, when you're tired like that, I once called a free coaster a cassette, and I got torn apart on the internet, so I don't want to make that mistake anymore.
Right. Come at me. I'm up for it. Gary Young, classic speed, classic Gary line straight into the bowl, first tee.
Downside ice pick on the huge vert wall.
No games. Gary looking hot as hell out there at the minute. That 270 transfer again is just not a problem. I couldn't see that, and I feel like that was a tail whip. Why do I feel like that was a tail whip?
That was a tail whip into the source wall. You hear the crowd going nuts. We can hear them from inside our little bunker here.
Huge tableware. No-handed a table. That's proper Gary dirt jump style. Like couple tricks in an air. Solid Gary. Warride over into that little piece, looking for that Warride to Smith, maybe.
Going into the little plaza section, showing the diversity that he can ride anything and everything. I've competed in dirt jumping contests with Gary, park contests, and we've seen. Oh, do we have a photographer getting in the way?
A media man fucked that up.
Was it Fudger that got in his way?
Is it Fudger? Have a word, Fudger. Get out of the way, mate. You dick. Gary was literally so if the judges can hear me, they definitely can't, but just an FYI, Gary should not be penalised for Fudger's mistake. That was unfortunate. I felt like Gary was going at something then. Holy shit.
One of the better runs we've seen all day.
Yeah.
So,
really.
You know, shout out to Ryan Fudger getting in his buddy's way, ruining his run.
Jensen taking it out straight away again. Nollie bar off that rail ride. That's another one that's never made any sense to me. There's a lot of commitment on the front end. He's quite comfortable on the front end, isn't he?
So comfortable.
That nose again, like, see, it's always a big risk.
Big gamble.
In the middle of a run.
Never seen him ride in person before. I've seen video, and it's very impressive. Now, a lot of this stuff, you don't realize how hard it is because he makes it look so easy, but just balancing on that front wheel, making it look so easy. Even the way he throws his bars just looks casual as you like.
I'm pretty sure he did an opposite tire tap with a free coaster a minute ago, and I think that's absolutely insane. Just shows you level of control. Nice little foot jam whip there to slowing it down at the end. Going to try and drop this nose manny 180, and he nails that one. Nice one at the end of the run. That is a nice second visit from the new guy, Jensen Murray.
Yeah, awesome to have some new, fresh faces out here. It's funny because some of these riders, we have to keep going back and looking at our list to make sure that we get their names right. Because, like I said, I've never seen him ride in person before, so it's good to have some new, fresh blood out here. And you talk about a guy that's had an amazing year. We got Brock Rayford coming up, team captain, showing that tooth over to pegs 180 out. I believe that's how he started his last run too,
Yeah,
showing opposite bar spin.
Bar disaster. Oh, going for the regular peg switch whip this time round. Just getting a little bit caught up there. It's uncharacteristic for Brock to go down on what, you know, I see him do that a lot in practice, but not skipping a beat, coming straight back at it.
And he's got a different way of doing his opposite tail whips. He really takes that front foot off and just kicks the hell out of his subframe, and forces that bike around. Brock Rayford showing you the big pocket air back into the bowl section. Wanted that slow bar again, but it looks like he gets a little bit caught up. Now, obviously, his first run was a little bit better than this one, I think. He's waving it off, but we're going to be coming up on the last tricks now, so very excited to see what these guys have in store.
Not looking bad for our third heat. We're now obviously going to be moving back up to the top in a moment. I think they're going to let the boys have a little breather, figure out what they're going to do. But it's going to be really interesting, especially now, like we've seen the level of riding from the past two heats, especially when it comes to the last tricks. It's going to be a wild one to see what heat number 3 has got for the last tricks.
Now, what do you think so far based on the overall competition? We're halfway through today's competition, and what do you think so far? I mean, would you have heat 3 in that number 1 spot so far? Not include. I know we're getting into last tricks, but I mean, I think so far as the runs that these guys have done, I'd have these guys right up at the top.
I honestly, if I was going to bank on anything at the minute, it's almost really hard because I start looking back through the list. I'm like, oh my god, Sergio was in Heat 1, and Nathan and HOBIE and JAYDEN, they all killed it. So, honestly, I'd much rather be sat here with you talking shit than being sat where Owen, Hank, and Ruben are sitting having to judge this contest, because this is a tough one.
Yeah, definitely hard to call. Dan and I are not judges. We can only base things on what we see. So
I'm judgy. I'm not a judge.
Big shout out to the judges for getting this one, and good luck to you guys out there.
And Brett Silver coming back for his last trick. Not sure what he wants to do. A bar spin to toboggan off of a flat bank flyout. That was legit. He's like, yeah, that was sick.
Just so much pop and
the crazy
so much
thing
power.
is, I feel like people wouldn't really get how crazy of a trick that is to do. Like bar spin, catching it, then dropping it into the toboggan. Like you said, he's got such a distinct style, kind of like that of like when you see AK do toboggans. Like the front end really dips into it, so you can tell exactly what he's doing. But that was a nice visit from Brett Silver to round it off for his last trick for Team Brock Rayford. Gary Young, the eye of Gary Young right now.
And the lip too. I mean, that thing is swollen right now. Took a real bad hit to the face yesterday trying this the wall to Smith to 180, missed front peg. When that front peg misses on a ledge, on a rail, you just go straight down. He went straight to the face, but didn't hold him back much. Always impressive, regardless of any kind of injury. Gary always perseveres and gets stuff done, so looking forward to his last trick right here. Looks like our cameraman fell down.
He's on the move. See you, Gary. Can't even speculate at this point.
Oh, looks like he's going for the Ruben wall ride to 180 back in.
It almost looked like he was over rotating it almost to get onto the wall at maybe 270. This is that's the camera angle we need, so we can sort of see where, like, goes if Grant Castelluzzo moves his massive head out of the way. That is Grant, isn't it? There's not many people in here wearing glasses.
And you have to when I say Ruben wall ride, that's when you do a wall ride and the front wheel of the bike is pointing straight down into the ramp. Ruben Alcantara was, of course, the first one to do it, so that's why we call it the Ruben wall ride. But let's see what Gary's got here. At least I think that's what he's trying, and that's what it looked like to me. We don't have the best angle for this, Dan, but, you know, let's check it out here. What?
Oh my God! Gary Young took a leaf out of Benny L's book. I only want to say that because Benny L did something pretty much the same out of the small bolt on the wall ride a couple of years back, and Gary just recreated an amazing trick in the big bowl for his final trick for Team Brock Rayford.
Now, what exactly was that? It's like he...
It's like a full... It's almost like you go to Ruben, but it's like a full over-rotation, and it's like a over-rotated 270 downside wall tap to 180 in. That's a wild one.
That's a wild one.
Crazy one. Gary is on fire. Busted lip, no busted lip. Gary Young absolutely slays it.
Here I'm thinking that he's going to do the Ruben, and he takes it one step further.
Just goes over and past it. Jensen Murray looking for some sort of nose manual line for his final trick.
Yeah, to no one's surprise, loves to do the front wheel trick, so looks like he's got a little bit of a line going here. There's that front wheel, nose wheelie. Now, Dan, you had mentioned before when someone's doing a manual in a hard trick competition, you consider it more of a line and less of a hard trick.
I think, honestly, with it being last tricks at this point in the heat, I think, you know, you can sort of get away with it, but I think when there's like a time limit and it's the best trick event, manual lines are just a no-go for me. Like, they take up a little bit too much time, like, especially when it's on countdown, but Jensen is literally that close to landing his final trick, which I imagine probably would have been a nose 180.
That's what I was thinking too.
He would have gone straight into there. Aside from that, that was a solid first trip to Hastings and the first visit to Battle of Hastings for Jensen Murray. Two really strong runs. I think he's going back for the glory, which I'm very happy about, as I want to see some more of this.
There we go, nose in. Taking Grant out with the bike.
It's all right, Grant moves really slow most of the time, so he didn't get hit too bad with the bike there.
Got Daryl now.
Daryl's on the hype. Daryl's like, yeah, do it. Yeah.
It's hard to say no when you have Daryl now on the mic, announcing your name, just egging you on, keeping you going, not to mention the crowd gets behind you, and it's hard to quit, honestly. He wants this trick, he's chasing it. There's that nose wheelie going up.
It's always very disheartening when you get halfway into a nose wheelie and the front and the back end drops, so you're just like, oh, it's sort of like, oh, really? Did that really just happen? It's, you know, the same like if you do a normal manual. Like, I feel like Jensen's at that stage where he's clearly got the control, so dropping the back end on a nose manual like that is like me dropping the front end on a regular manual on something. It's just very disheartening. So I know that I can do this, so this is it. I feel like this might be the one. No, I couldn't have been more wrong. But it looks like he's teeing up the nollie bar, but a little nollie bar dropping. I can't even say I've ever done that before either, Chris, to be honest.
I think that's going to be it for Mr. Jensen Murray. Awesome to have him out here, fresh face, very nice young man. Talked to him a little bit at the airport. Said he's very excited to be here, just to be in the presence of so many amazing riders and to be here at Battle of Hastings, of course. But next up, we got Mr. Brock Rayford coming in for his last trick. Going to be interesting to see what Brock has up his sleeve, because you know he's got a ton of tricks to choose from. Got a lot of power, a lot of pop. This should be good.
Oh my, that is a wild one. The look on his face didn't tell me that he was. Oh, see, it could have been intentional. Like, tooth to pop up, tail ride, like switch tooth, pop up, tire ride. Seems like a wild one.
Here we go.
Going for the tooth over peg hard free. That is a wild one to do down the rail. If you notice, like a lot of people when they do their hard ways out of rails, they obviously get right to the very end until they can pull right off the side of the rail. I have to pull right off the end of the rail to get to it, but Brock literally just hammers it round from halfway up the rail, just pulls right off the side. It's almost like it goes over the last like section of the rail after he does that hard free.
You got to remember he's going down, so there's a lot of downforce on the bike, on the body. Check him out.
Yeah, literally it went straight back over the other side rail. I was like, no, that's obviously, I think that might have been his last. Was that his third and final try for that one? Wasn't it? Yeah, because he tried landing tires on the first one. So that's his last attempt that will count towards his judges' final score. But I'm hoping that he's going to do this one for the glory, because I feel like it's something Brock knows he can do. So he's going to want to go back and get this done.
Yeah, he's so close to it. You just saw his hand kind of blow off on that one. Looks like he wants to come back for a little bit more. It looks like everything's right there, and it's ready for him to pull.
Right, setting up, nice and slow creeping in. That looked like we got into the pegs, and it looked like it was going to be the one. Come on, Brock, just get it done.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's almost like he's like at the middle of the rail. Like once he hits double peg, he's already thinking to pull off for that hard three.
Yeah, pulling off at that point in a hard three it's just not. For me, I need like to be able to do a hard three. I need like almost like a takeoff on the rail to be able to get out the top of it. Just into that switch tooth, dropping the back peg. Turn back around, you get frustrated. Don't get angry, get even. Let's go.
Just hear the crowd getting nuts. Here we go.
And the crazy thing is, I think he did it first try in qualifying yesterday, middle of his run in qualifying. Andy's Ice is saying, nope, you are not leaving until you do this. Darren now's like, come on, man, you got this.
Just a tooth over to that double peg seems hard enough for me.
It's a wild one, because like the problem I've had with it before, like as you're coming over from the tooth, you end up missing your back peg, because it's not like doing on a flat rail where you have to force it over. Because the rails are slipping away from you, your back peg can miss, but Brock seems to get into that pegs every time after the tooth.
Every time. Just the crowd getting nuts, getting behind Brock. Let's see if he's got it here.
Just getting a little bit sideways turned out there. You're that close, you might as well get up and do it.
He is literally right there.
But it is at this point, it's like, Jesus Christ, I've had like the same crash 3 times. Come on, Castelluzzo getting up close and personal.
It's like, what does it take? What do you think he has to do in order to pull this trick? Just hang on? Or?
I think the issue that he's having is that he's staying too far lent over the rail to be able to get the pull off it. And then obviously when he's coming around, he's leaving too far to the left. So I'm hoping he's going to be able to pull left of the rail off of the spin and come away from it a little bit more, because that might see it. But he's obviously running out a lot of energy now. He's going to wave it off. Brock Rayford for Team Brock Rayford. And I think Darren now is saying, no, you may as well do it. I think he is. Darren's like, yeah, come on, Brock. Just do it. Do it for the fans. You've come all the way here. Your shoulder doesn't hurt. You've got this. You've got this. You've got this, Brock. You've got this, dude. You've got this. Just do it, bro.
Solid Daryl Now impression from Dan Lacey.
Wasn't bad.
Looks like he's
But this
back
might
in.
be it. Brock, yeah, Daryl Now with the power. Let's go.
Ultimate hype man. Here we go.
No, that was just unfortunate.
No, he's
Brock
done his
Rayford
shoulder.
just spinning out of that last second there. And Mojitos are on the way into the live booth. Is that right there? I'm being told to hold my mic closer. I do apologise. Thank you, Coxie. Shout out James Cox for running this entire ordeal.
Shout out to James Cox. Shout out to everyone here at the Source for putting on such an amazing event.
There's a lot of hands on deck that I don't think everyone quite takes into consideration how much shit is going on behind the scenes here. I mean, all the years I've been riding it, I had no idea of what's going on in all the side rooms, and now we're obviously going to be gearing up for heat number 4 to get their practice in, so we're going to sit here and talk some shit and do a bit of a recap about heat number 3.
Heat number 3 is a wrap. What were some of the highlights for you?
Genuinely, I'd say getting to see Brett Silver rides in person for the first time, what I'd say ever. Like, I mean, I've seen his edits and things like that, but actually seeing him in the Source Park doing his own thing. Gary Young. Obviously, I'm looking as I go down through the rider list who went in order. Gary Young was absolutely sterling, of course. Jensen Murray, and then team captain Brock Rayford. It was another really solid heat of riding.
Really big fan of Brock Rayford's first run. If you notice, he didn't put a foot down. He covered the entire park, did a lot of different difficult elements, and just really impressive from Heat 3. In my opinion right now, of course, I'm not a judge. I'd have them in number 1, but we still have 2 more heats to go. But for now, we're going to get into our last plaza session that you're going to see for the day. This is the first place team. This is Mr. Joe Jarvis and Alex Donachie. These guys killed it. You guys are going to love this. Check it out.
Right, and there you saw first place plaza edit there from Joe Jarvis in his dirty little pants and Alex Donachie in his massive helmet. What an absolute spectacle that was. It's honestly, you look there, I didn't want to talk shit about any of the other plaza edits, but it did seem that Jarvis, his dirty little pants, and Donachie managed to get so much more done than everyone else. It seemed like everything they did might have been first tee, just rolling off the cuff. So there was your first place plaza edit, and I think that everyone could probably agree that they deserve that. Jarvis, don't let it go to your head, you knobhead. And so we're going into heat number 4. Speaking of knobheads, Team Chisholm with Joe Jarvis, Reed Stark, Alex Donachie, and of course, team captain Stuart Chisholm. This is going to be one that I think everyone's going to be hyped on watching. Reed Stark puked up yesterday in qualifying. As hopefully we might be able to see something of that again. Jarvis hopefully won't be in his pants and he might be wearing a t-shirt, so fingers crossed for that.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about Joe Jarvis all weekend long, not only his performance on the bike, but also his performance late night at the bars and at the pubs local to Hastings. So he's definitely making a bit of a name for himself on all aspects. And we saw him getting the Plaza stuff done in his underwear. Yeah. And, you know, maybe that's what it takes in order for him to perform at a high level. I don't know. Personally, I'd like to see him keep his clothes on during the run, but hey,
yeah, we'll see how he gets on. I think we'll see right. Well, this is his problem. He's wearing a long sleeve indoors now. Like, he doesn't know. Well, what are you doing? Just short sleeve t-shirt, fine. So I guarantee you, in about, I reckon I'll call it. I'll make a bet. I'll make a bet with you right now, Chris. £5. £5 says that within his first run, that long sleeve shirt is off.
All right.
There we go, Reed Stark chucking around some Battle of Hastings clobber to the fans. Obviously everyone loves it. Speaking of chucking stuff out, actually, the worst thing is, I know it's only the guys on the live feed that can hear this, but I will be wandering around the park later on with one of my old lacy frames that I'm just going to give to someone random that comes up and says hi. So if anyone's cool enough and wants to come and have a chat, I'll literally give you a frame, no strings attached, no questions asked. So yeah, if you want a frame, give me a shout.
Oh, you're gonna have people banging on our door here. We're kind of burrowed in a little cubby doing our commentary, so I'm expecting kids are gonna be banging on the door here any second, looking for a new lacy frame.
I'm hoping they don't actually know where we are. You'd like to think as well that most of the people in there are actually watching the event, not standing there on their phones, watching the live feed with me and you talking shy over it.
Well, there's Mr. Reed Stark up there, we see, with the team captain, Stuart Chisholm. We saw him puke in that corner yesterday. Now, shout out to our staff here at the Source. A poor guy had to go out there and clean all that up. So
yeah, cheers, Reed. So I think this might have got it started.
We are in and we are going. Hang 5.
A couple of snidey cranks there. Jarvis doing a 3. Didn't quite clear all of that bank, mate. Another pedal next time, you'll be all right. Switch pegs up, bar. Pegs, hard 180 over into the little bank. Looking a little bit suspect. A couple of beers last night, did you, bruv? I've never seen Joe Jarvis not pull a tail whip or a hang 5. You got too drunk last night, buddy. Go and sweat one out. Take that shirt off. You're too hot in that. Yep. Well, Joe Jarvis' first trip to the course. He looked a little bit shaky. Hopefully he's going to pull it out of his arse the second run, but still got a couple of seconds left, so he's going to try and do a hang 5 for the boys. Same thing again, missing the pedals. That's Beers O'Clock that's done that. You can see it in his face. He's a little bit disappointed. He's like, yeah, didn't do a hang 5, didn't do a tail whip. That's my bread and butter.
Well, I love the way he started his run. He did the hang 5, double peg, 180 out, and just it looked like he was really consistent in the beginning of the run, and then it just started to fall apart. You know, maybe he's better when he has a few more beers in him.
Yeah, right. Reed Stark coming back in with that peg grind up on the side rail once again. Chinking that peg rail up on the top.
I love that. That's
little
awesome.
Wall bump 270 to Switch Smith. Reed with a little Manny bump line coming back in. So it's interesting to see where Reed goes. It always seems like a house fly. It's almost erratic. Like you're not quite sure which way he's going to turn. Because usually you can watch someone try, he might turn into this, but Reed literally just turns, zip, 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 sort of goes everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of speed, a lot of originality, a lot of creative lines. First guy we've seen do this line.
Back into that little flat bank hip at the bottom. A lot of smashing the pegs around.
Now, Reed is from the Midwestern United States, so that's an area that's synonymous with ramp riding, and we can see that Reed knows how to ride a ramp. He knows how to ride the streets. He knows the rails, the ledges, and absolute pleasure to have him out here and show off a lot of that creativity.
Not a bad first visit to
Not
the
bad at all.
Start.
And it doesn't look like he's going to be sick after this run, which is good because, like I said yesterday, he was puking after a couple of his runs. So hopefully he keep his food down.
Shout out to the Source crew for keeping this place nice and clean. And here we have Alex Donachie dropping in for his first run. We can expect some amazing crank arm to turn down. That's not one that you'd expect to see out of anyone, but Alex Donachie making it look like not an issue at all.
Never seen Alex Donachie do a turn down before in my life.
That was a nollie switch KRUK 180. Just oh yeah, Alex Donachie. He's not got a bad turn down on him. Just I've never seen him do it out of a crank arm before. That was a wild one. He pegs up Manny. Look for that Phoebe hard 180 over. That's a wild tech one to throw in the middle of a run. Donachie, another one really confident on the front wheel. Vader jam. That's a classic. Straight into that nose peg 180.
So consistent with some of these super difficult links and grinds, and it's always hard for me to tell what's regular, what's opposite, what's his normal way to grind. Look at that.
Switch hanger crank arm 180 up the main rail, and as I said, Chris, I know we didn't shake on it, but Joe Jarvis's t-shirt hat is off.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'll pay up later. Alex Donachie's an X Games champion, is he not?
He is.
All right.
He's a little git. He's too good for his own good.
One of the few guys to beat Garrett Reynolds in fair competition, so that should tell you enough about Alex Donachie.
I won a Dew Tour once when Garrett didn't turn up, just so you know, just an FYI. 2013 Dew Tour champion. Stuart Chisholm, the main man, dropping straight in, big free whip over the bowl-to-bowl. We can hear the crowd in here. We're in what you call a military bunker. You can't hear shit, but we can hear the reception when Stu Chisholm comes in. I don't even know what you call that. I call it the Boyd Hilda, because he was the first sort of person I see doing like the kicked out, backhanded seat grab. Stu loving this little drop in line.
Probably has some family in the house today, would you think, being local?
You'd like to think so. I think Stu's either recently become a dad or is about to become a dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like there's a couple of young local cats like Jordan and Stu both on the way to becoming dads. So that's a wild one. I'll skip that. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm far too selfish for that shit.
Well, we saw him step out of the 180 bar, catch bar. Saw him do it yesterday, very casual. Saw him do it in practice, very casual. So maybe just a few nerves getting in the way. First run, maybe clean it up a little bit on the second run.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like it's got to be quite nerve-wracking, especially after the first three heats that have already ridden. You're sort of looking, thinking, shit, how am I gonna top what fucking Gary Young, Nathan Williams, Brock Rayford, all these guys had such solid runs. So that pressure builds up almost a little bit.
Joe Jarvis back on course, hang 5, pegs 180. Shirt is off, chain is shining. There's that big 360 to flat.
Not quite getting the tuck there that he would have liked. I know that I would have liked as well. It's a bit flat. Switch peg up bar, that's just a casual one for Joe. Pegs over hard free. Literally made it look like it weren't even a problem.
He's a tall guy, isn't he? He looks like to be about like 6'2".
Proper gangly lad he is, yeah.
There's that hang 5 again.
Hang 5.
Is he going to do the, let that tail up go around, let it go back, flatland influence.
Unlucky Jarvis.
Came in a little bit too much on the hip, slid it out a little bit. So he looked like he fully had it.
It was a massive improvement from his first run. He's nailed a lot of the stuff that he tried to do, and I'm 100% certain he's had enough, and he's going to be going free off the top of the side of the sub box. So he pulls the first try. Just under-rotated there, caught. It's always difficult when you under-rotate going at such a slow speed like that on a big drop. Don't worry, Daryl, he's just being a drama queen, it's fine. It is quite hard to hang on if you under-rotate from that point, because all of your weight just bears on the back end, just blows you straight off the back. I fell victim to one of those not too long ago, but all smiles, go get yourself a beer, sweat it out. Wearing the Federal Bikes Vans collab that had just came out recently, so keep your eye out for that one. It's always a flame pinstripe bad boy.
Now, and he also is doing the big 360 at the end of his run. He's tired, he's sweaty, his hands are probably sweating off the grips, so Always tough to do something like that at the end of your run.
You could see it as soon as he got out of the bowl after not landing that hang five, it was very telling. As soon as I see him take those 2 cranks around the back, I was like, he's had enough. He's going to go do that 3 just to round off a run, just to try and see if he did anything. Reed Stark coming in with a lot of speed into the big bowl this time.
Now, Reed's kind of sticking to the same line that we saw him do in qualifying. We saw him do it on the last run. He's really sticking to the script. Do you think the judges want to see a little bit more variety out of Reed?
I would have liked to. I'm not a judge. I'm just judgy. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more variety, because I know Reed's capable of a lot. Like, he's got a lot of unique things in his bag. But like you said, he is sticking to, you know, I mean, obviously, if you've got a good recipe, why fuck it up? So he's obviously thinking, right, I've done well over the past couple of runs with how I did it the first time. Switching that feeds up to a pegs, which probably will do a little bit better with the scores this time.
Yeah, you got to think with a guy like Ruben, who's so creative, you want to see 2 different creative original runs and not just the same thing over and over. Oh, but look at that. That was really cool. He wall rode and he
there's
hit
like that tiny lip that you can just see there, Chris. It's maybe like less than half the width of a bike tire that he's managed to get his tires in and just like managed to get the slight little tire ride on the side of it. So that's always a good way to round out a run. And Alex Donaghy looking like he means business as usual.
Now, what else could Alex possibly do? I love the way he started on his first run. Let's see if he does it. Oh, I love it.
Crank arm to turn down, very consistent. Little X up on the way over. Nollie switch KRUK 180, like it's not a problem. Just very, very real textbook. Same with Alex, like he's stuck to, I mean, they all, like, same with Jarvis, they all tried to clean up their first runs maybe a little bit. Alex pegs up, manual.
Feeble.
Maybe looking for that hard 3 over, which would have been a crazy one. I've never really seen anyone do Phoebe's hard 3 over on a flat rail or anything like that, but might be looking to come back for that. Canadian, that's always a classic. Alex Donaghy didn't pull a nose wheelie. What a shocker. What are you doing, lad? Shout out Dave Summertime, sitting at home in quarantine right now, giving Alex Donaghy some grief. Shout out Summertime. Tooth crank, some sort of fly out whap. Not bad. Alex Donaghy, another solid visit to the course. Crank arm turn down is a new way to start a run. I don't think I've ever seen anyone start a run with a crank arm to turn down on the rail before.
Absolutely not. I definitely think his first run was a little bit better, a little bit more consistent, but now the park is getting hyped for the local boys. Stuart Chisholm.
Alfie Miller in the back, blowing up the back rails.
There's that 360 tail. Loves to start his run off like that.
Catching that nice and clean this time. No, catching the back end on the, like hoping like last time, real clean.
And it looks like Dan has a visitor coming in, wants to come in for a new frame.
Someone's already turned up for the frame. Give me a minute, bro.
All right, Stuart Chisholm, back of course, got a good one going right now.
Chisholm just dropping back in off the top of that sub box like it's not even an issue. Jumping into the curve. Well, that's a wild, like real wild line to jump into, like, because you're coming out of the roller, jumping into a curve wall and coming round into it. Almost seems like it shouldn't work.
This is going to be the 180 bar catch bar. There it is. Pulls it clean as you like.
Nails it this time. Stu Chisholm looking nice in the main bowl. Backwards Manny Sesh. 180, send it. Yes, bruv. Oh, body flop. Stu Chisholm, local boy. Doing us proud, bruv. Well in, Stu.
The nice friends, family, and the unborn child, apparently, on its way.
It's amazing. It kind of sucks. Like, Stu actually asked me to be on his team for Battle of Hastings this year, which is unfortunate because obviously he asked me. I hadn't seen him for months. He asked me, "Do you want to be on my team?" I'm like, "Look, dude, I had a crash, so I'm going to be handling a few different bits while I'm there this year." So. Shout out to Stu Chisholm and his team for absolutely slaying it. Is it last tricks now? I think that's their runs. They've
runs
still got
done.
the
last trick time.
Last tricks. This is going to be a wild one. I'd like to. I'm kind of speculating what Jarvis and his weird, smelly little pants are going to do, because he's already 3'd off the side of there. Is he going to truck off of it, or is he going to go somewhere completely different, or he's going somewhere different?
You know, honestly, it's kind of reminiscent of when Mike Hoder used to show up to the contest back in the day. He always had something really wild, really crazy planned out, something that no one else had thought of, and it was almost always gnarly. Quite the showman, similar to Joe Jarvis.
I remember seeing a clip before I ever met Hoder. Shout out Hoder, what a G. I see a clip of him jumping out of Toronto Metro Jam.
Vancouver Metro Jam, actually. Always scary, too. He always had something really scary that no one else was going to do. But Joe Jarvis is on course showing that hang 5.
Up to the rail, pegs, hard 180. Not a bad first tee. I'd take that. I'd take that. Yeah, take it. Yeah, take that. Yeah, you heard me right. Take it.
Oh, and here it is.
COVID safety beers.
To almost nobody's surprise, Joe Jarvis goes straight from the hard trick straight to the beer. And you think he's got more in him, or you think he's just done for the weekend?
Well, I don't know. Like, you think, like, he did that first try kind of easy. You'd like to think, like, no, I've got 2 more attempts. Maybe I should try something else. Like, but obviously the judges are only going to count the first trick he's done. But he could have done it for the glory. But I feel like he's done enough this weekend. Not a bad run from Joe Jarvis.
We got Reed Stark.
Shout out Greg Illingworth.
Big gap up to the top of the vert wall, double peg into the vert wall, and he is stoked right now, Dan.
That is a heavy, heavy line, and he seems like very excited and might want to do something else.
Well, we've seen a couple people dance on the top of that wall before. Went up there, double peg. Does he want to go maybe like Feeble Smith?
I think it might have been a couple of years. I think Boyd Hilda did Phoebe Smith to bar off of that into the other transition on the other side one year, which was absolutely phenomenal. And Restart coming in, looking for the Phoebes. Maybe Phoebe Smith and into the vert wall, which will be a wild, wild line. I remember Boyd Hilda hitting that, and he came across that so fast. Phoebe Smith, bar, drop straight down into the drop 8 foot straight down into the 6 foot transition. So Reed Stark obviously coming in with a bit of speed, looking for something a bit different, very serious at that. Chink, 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 yeah.
But he, obviously a lot of it depends on how good he gets the spine too, because he's got to get this perfect so he gets speed to get up there. Just wants that feeble, and then we don't really know where he's going to go after that, but hopefully he gives it a few more attempts.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's got it in him. Reed's always one of those guys. He's very excitable, always wants to put on a show, always wants to make sure he does what he wants to do. So I think it's a case of now this is for the glory. The judges are probably going to accept the pegs up to drop in the vert was a wild maneuver anyway, so it's going to score quite well for his last trick.
Yeah, absolutely. Up and over the spine. Here we go. There's that feeble. It comes in.
Feeble drop in. Feeble grind's always a scary one. Reed's going to take that.
Well, you could tell just by his body language it's not exactly what he wanted, but he's just going to take it. He's like, whatever, it's all good. Just happy to be here.
It's a scary one. I mean, even like feebling on basically like a 12-foot vert ramp.
Yeah. It looks small on our screen, of course, but we've both ridden this bull. We know that that's a big move.
When you're standing down on the deck with the rest of the crew, you kind of get more of an idea of how big everything is. It's quite easy to be like, oh, it kind of looks okay. So coming up for his final trick on the course is tech wizard Alex Donachie. He's got a lot of the burly stuff as well, but I think he sort of veers towards the very tech aspect of BMX, so it's to be interesting to see what he's got. Switch hanger to crank on, whatever at the top. I'm not quite sure where he's going to go with that. I'm hoping he's going to send it 360 because he did the tooth crank one in qualifying and in the finals, so I'm hoping that he might try and spice it up a little bit and chuck an extra oneer on there.
So nice to have an actual street rider doing some commentary with me, because I usually struggle to know what's regular, what's opposite, what's this, what's that. And, you seem to really know your stuff, and you're good friends with Alex Donachie, correct?
I've known Alex for a really long time. Yeah, I was seeing him grow up. I remember he used to ride I think he used to ride for Newton back in the day, like when he was in the 70s. I think he was about 3'2". When I first met him, I'm like, who the fuck is this little kid dropping off massive stair sets and things like that? And I had no idea. And then here he is, all grown up, X Games gold medalist. Doesn't do bad at all, so here we go. Switch tooth crank 180 bar up a massive rail. That is quite a feat, and Sam Jones obviously standing looking at, you've got to do that. You can't walk away.
And similar to what we've talked about before, how do you get the speed to get all the way up that rail? I mean, it's a long way up. That's not a short rail.
Yeah, it almost seems like when Alex goes up a rail, especially when he goes into that tooth, he's floating up that tooth, and the crank arm is very forward leaning, and he seems to just cruise up it. Like, I mean, if I was to jump that, I have to jump that hip about 5 or 6 feet out to get the speed to do a pegs up it.
And there we go.
That was absolutely ridiculous. Alex Donachie, unfortunately, 4th try, so it's not going to count towards his final score, but to lace that at the end of your run after having two heats that have probably absolutely smashed the life out of you, you don't know what's going on, and then now to literally just turn around and do switch tooth, crank 180 bar up a massive handrail.
That's more than a mouthful right there. Next up for final trick, we got Mr. Stuart Chisholm, the local boy right here. And when you're riding your local park, he's probably got something up his sleeve that he's been eyeing up for a really long time. Now, we've seen him tail whip off the top of the wall.
It wouldn't surprise me if he did the tail whip as a nice little crown on the edge, just to finish everything off. Like, he knows he can do it, he feels comfortable, he's in a good space right now. Big Stu looking at it, and then Big Matt Brown on the deck as well, cheering him on. Stu Chisholm.
And there we go.
Huge tail whip dropping, not an issue. Not an issue.
He is hyped.
Kind of acting like he's never done it before, but well done, Stu.
Yeah,
amazing.
I like the way he popped it. It looked like a dirt jumping tail whip, the way he popped that tail whip and had lots of time to catch the pedals.
Really kicked it round and came in like fully into the transition. Didn't come in at like a side angle, came in dead straight.
So just
shout out to Tom Blythe for taking care of the crew.
just getting hugs from everybody.
Grant Smith trying to shout over everyone. Oh, right, yeah, I know.
See Alex Kennedy hanging out, checking things out. One of our team captains at Battle of the Hastings this year. Lots of hugs going around. It's a camaraderie, respect. Joe Jarvis passing along the beer
to his team captain. All in all, boys should be really happy with those runs. We can't hear what you're saying, Jarvis. You understand that, right? George Legg in the house. Little George Legg. It's really nice to see everyone in, but what another heat. So that's heat number 4 has come to an end now. So what can we take from that, especially with the last tricks and everything? It's almost like this, so much has happened now. I'm sort of starting to lose track of where we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a busy day. I mean, I think it's gone rather fast. I really liked Heat 4 a lot. I mean, Joe Jarvis, Reed Stark, Alex Donachie, and Stuart Chisholm. I really like Reed Stark's runs a lot of style, a lot of creativity, originality, and I would have liked to have seen him get that last trick because, you know, he wanted a little bit more out of that. But yeah. Awesome to have all these guys here, and everyone's really just crushing it right now.
I mean, you said like Alex Donachie, like the consistency that he's got throughout his entire runs, and then even at the end, it was just unfortunate to that one extra try for tooth crank 180 bar up the, you know, what could be considered like the longest, tallest, like the biggest rail in the back end of the park. But like we said earlier, we're seeing a lot of diversity from the riders. We're seeing a lot of people taken to the back end of the course, and then obviously we saw Stu and Reed like sort of concentrate on the bowl side of things and really sort of taking control there. Jarvis, unfortunate, dropping out, like blowing off the back of the 360 at the end of a run. Like you said, it's got to be a tough one to like kind of muster that up and kind of try and muscle that around, especially when, you know, people's got my go-to tricks a peg grind when I'm running out of energy.
Yeah, and we saw him do the big 360 in best trick yesterday, and we're going to get a good look at the best tricks. Let's take a look right now. All right, we got a good look at the best trick contest that went down yesterday. Now, Dan, as a guy with a very strong opinion, in your opinion, what do you think would win best trick out of everything that we just saw?
Greg Illingworth's Captain Wall Ride. It was a no contest for me, like, because it's a new part of the skate park. No one's ridden it before, especially when you can see from this view here, like the line that he's having to take to like 180 into the WD-40 wall and then 180 into the tight transition at the back end. So yeah, there was a lot of amazing tricks that went down yesterday. Don't get me wrong. However, I think Greg might have just pinched that.
Yeah, and as a guy that I see a lot of. I like the way Greg rides, and you can see a lot of similarities between the way that he rides and I ride. Maybe I'm giving myself too much credit with that, but I really enjoy the way Greg rides. It rides a lot of speed, a lot of intensity. He's always got that fierce look in his eye. I love it. I love to see it. So I liked Greg's as well. But I mean, you got a lot of other things out there. We had KEIRAN Reilly doing the double flare backflip, and you know that quarter pipe that he did it out of. I mean, that's not the best quarter pipe. If you're doing a double flare, it seemed, well, I'm only assuming that you'd want to have a little bit more time, but he did a full old school style out of a relatively mellow quarter.
Are you making out you've never done a double flare before, Chris?
I certainly have not.
And with that, we are heading into the final heat, which is going to be heat number 5. Team Ben Wallace, Sam Jones, KEIRAN Reilly, Ollie Shields, and obviously team captain Ben Wallace taking the reins for heat number 5.
And we know that Sam Jones and Ollie Shields definitely helped pull their team into this first place position with their second place plaza finish. So they really helped their team out a lot. And then, of course, KEIRAN Reilly and Ben Wallace handling things in the bowl. Really looking forward to watching Ben Wallace ride. Always enjoyable, always ton of style. Love his look backs. And we saw him do that corked out 720 yesterday over the little spine. So it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to see real quick why these guys qualified in that first place position.
Yeah, it's going to be a real interesting one, especially this is essentially Team UK. This is a full UK squad. Ben Wallace yesterday turning the heat up at the end of it, doing a 720 over. It's not a box jump, but it's the closest thing to it in the building. I don't know how he managed to do that 7. The big look back where he came in, he was out of the top of the vert wall, coming out of that smaller bowl into the vert wall edge, straight out of the top of it. Huge crank look back, straight in, carrying all the speed through. There's a lot of different styles riding. Sam Jones, massive tech wizard, a lot of front end control, and the same with Ollie Shields. Don't watch him ride much, but I know he's quite good. Sam Jones, I know, I obviously used to ride for Dub, so I've been out on a few trips with him. I've seen him sort of grow up from when we did like the first homegrown videos, first section and that. So then seeing him like kind of grow up into like this crazy tech wizard that he is now is something quite special.
And he looks like he's our first man on the course right now. First run in, Sam Jones. Going nose up over opposite toothpick to that 360 bar spin to fakie on the quarter pipe. Good start so far.
Looking good with a lot of speed up the back compared to most. Dabbing a foot, dabbing another foot.
I saw him today out in the courtyard and he says, I'm so sore. I think he took a big slam yesterday in the plaza, so good to still have him out here giving it his all.
Still looking real good regardless of any injury that he claimed to have. Nollie over peg 180. That's not an easy one to do.
Oh, showing you the lucky grind.
That's quite a special one. A lucky grind down a handrail.
Oh, and a hand plant.
And a hand plant from Sam Jones. That's one I'm not too overly familiar with from Sam, but I think he might have to write off this first run.
Yeah, and the look on his face, that's a look of a very tired young man who's had a long weekend.
Yeah, like you said, he said he's nursing a crash from yesterday. So obviously that's probably taken quite a toll on him, especially with the amount of time that you're going to be out there and like the pressure and the heat and everything in the room. It's going to be a tough one to follow up. But then KEIRAN Reilly, this is a little dude with a lot of power. So let's go. Let's see what he's got for us. 270 drop-ins, always a nice way to start. I credit that. 360 tail whip to bar spin, dropping over into the small bowl, catching spare there, straight over into the big bowl, table.
Now he's able to fit so many tricks in just like one air. I mean, the 360 tail whip to bar spin over a very tiny obstacle. There's that 360 triple tail whip.
How the fuck? I swear he did not have enough speed or air to do that then. The speed that those whips came around was mental. Dropping back up into the thing, doing transfers, doesn't really seem like his gig. Coming back around, there's so much speed and power still from KEIRAN. I feel like he's got a lot of time to go.
That is not a big island either. That's a small, if you want to call it a jump box, we can call it a jump box. But I mean, to squeeze in a 360 triple tail up over that. And what did we just see there? That was a flare whip to bar?
It was an alley flare whip that was literally just off the cuff, back end of it. Don't even think he's done yet.
I'm talking about one trick and he's doing two more tricks, and it's hard to keep up. He gets me tongue-tied and twisted just about every time.
Real solid first run from KEIRAN REILLY. First time I've got to see him ride in person, and we've got Ollie Shields taking his first run.
Ollie Shields, as you mentioned, is a goofy-footed rider. Maybe not the word that you used, but I'll say he's a goofy-footed rider. He's showing you a lot of bowl riding there. A guy that we saw in the plaza really shining.
Grew up riding with Mark Love, so obviously took a lot from the style of someone of that caliber. You're always going to have, you know, a lot in your bag. So shout out to Mark Love.
Stepping out of that tooth hanger there. Looked like he was going to go OTB and just kind of saved it at the last moment. That fast plant 360. I keep wanting to call everything opposite, but I got to realize that he's a goofy-footed rider.
I'm just slipping out on an ice pit there. He might wave this one off and hope for a better second. Yeah, that's going to be it for Ollie Shields. So that means we are coming round to the final rider in this heat, which is none other than Captain Ben Wallace. And as you might have seen yesterday, if you tuned in for the qualifiers, Ben was absolutely on fire yesterday, and he's about to absolutely have it. You can see him in the corner trying to round up the crowd. Let's go, Ben. Send it, bruv.
Oh, we can hear the crowd going wild from our little bunker in here. They love to see Ben Wallace, to see what he's got to start his run off with it. Corked out 720.
Keeping the feet on this time. Amazing work.
Coming into the bowl with a lot of speed, a lot of power. He's an Olympic hopeful. He's on Team GB, so you know he knows his way around a park course. Covering a lot of ground. There's that big look back that we love so much.
Real solid start to this for Ben Wallace. Team captain showing the boys how it's done. Nice turn down over the hip. I'm calling that flat. That's a flat spin 9. That's a flat spin 9. I'm calling that. If any of you ramp tramps want to come in and school me on that, that is. And did you see just snapping off?
He's broken his seat.
Someone grabbed Ben Wallace's seat. I think he might have some mechanical issues.
Oh, man.
I think he might have smashed his seat off with his bollocks. That might have been a rough one. But none other, I cannot fault that run. That run was absolutely smashing start to finish. Huge 7 started off. Big look back transfer. And then shining it off with a flat spin 9 to snap your seating off.
Yeah, the corked out 9 gets me every time. Some people call it a 540 flare. Some people say it a corked out 900. But whatever it is, it's wild. And he caught all the transition on that quarter pipe too. Unfortunate for him, on the next, he hit that hip, snapped the seat off. But fortunate for him and his wife Scarlett already have 2 kids, so nothing to worry about there.
All good. Sam Jones coming in for his second run. It'd be interesting to see what we've got here from Sam. Nollie over switch tooth, straight into that truck again, keeping it simple like the same run as before. I say simple, I can't do either of those tricks, so it's not simple for me. Straight into that hang 5, not dabbing a foot this time, which is always nice. Oh, there's the dab and another one.
You jinxed him on that one.
I know, I felt bad. Sorry about that, Sam. Tyre ride straight into tail whip. There you go, back to normal proceedings for Sam Jones.
Now he is tired and he is sore. You got to realize a lot of the street guys aren't used to riding in an environment like this where you have a certain amount of time and you have to get things done and you have to be consistent. So it's probably new territory for Mr. Sam Jones.
I've got a serious lack of consistency, so I feel the pain. You have a great start and then all of a sudden you just fall apart and you can't bring it back. So that's usually my gig.
Showing you the 180 KRUKs.
Hey, back KRUKs. That's a tight one to 180 down that rail as well. Like, it's really difficult to try and like gauge like where everything's at. It's, oh, it's just done a 180 back KRUK down the rail. It is really tight. You look at the top of where that rail is. It's a real tight maneuver. It's like it's not like you can't come into it at a carve. It's a full 180 back KRUK.
And we see the media getting set up because they know that
homie Ali Jassim holding it down today.
KEIRAN Reilly back on course, 3-whip to bar spin over a very difficult spine. Coming back into the bowl. This is where he really likes to shine, on that box jump. Well, I don't want to say it's a box jump at the island here.
Closest thing to it, isn't it? Here we go. Double whip. Maybe looking for a bar at the end of that double whip, maybe.
Yeah, did it look like he wanted a little bit more out of that 360 double whip?
I don't like to speculate. Double bar straight into the wall. It's another solid run from KEIRAN. It's a real good start.
Yeah, I would say between him and Ben Wallace, they have some of the most consistent riding in our competition so far. But oh, there's that flare alley-oop tail whip. I think I credited him with the bar spin on the last run, but you know, there's a lot to keep up with when KEIRAN's on the course. The tail whip to bar spin,
whip to bar air. That you could tell was a wind down. I'm gonna just sling this because I can. What a ridiculous human being. KEIRAN Reilly, good run, lad. Good run, well in. I'll give you that. Good run.
And we have to remember, this is a team event. So if one guy kills it super hard, but the rest of the team slacks, then it can really, you know, pull it down. So it's all about overall impression, and all of these riders' scores are combined together. And there is no I in team, so got to be a team player.
Ollie Shields coming back in for his second run. Spending a little bit more time in the bowl than you'd expect, considering his teammates have like sort of handled the bowl area a little bit. Ollie seems to, it's more of a street rider, but he's got the park stuff as well. But it does seem a little bit more comfortable, looking for high fives on the way around. Over Oppie Peg. Shout out Jack Dub. There's that fast pump 3 again, chucking it straight in the mix. It's always a nice looking trick, like regardless of whether it's switch or Oppie or regular. Oh, Ice 270, cutting it in, dropping the foot. Just tire rides up the rail for a laugh.
Salute to his teammate right there. Those guys killed it in the plaza section, showing you why they got second place. Their video was absolutely stellar, super fun to watch, always awesome to come to the UK and see Ollie Shields, a guy I don't usually get to see too much, but this is a guy I'm a little bit more familiar with, Mr. Ben Wallace. I've been seeing him around at the dirt comps, I've seen him at the park comps, competed against him on a few occasions, but let's check him out right here.
Oh my God, that couldn't have been. Oh, that's a bike malfunction. Someone give him a bike. Give Ben Wallace a bike.
He's still riding. He's still going with a flat
tire. Out. Ben Wallace.
No, he's not.
Oh my God. Ben Wallace, that deserves a medal in itself, man. That was amazing. The 3 look back, start it off. Just blew his tire out. Still managed to keep it going for like another 20 seconds after that.
2 bike malfunctions in both runs. Unfortunate for Ben.
I wish you could hear me, Ben. Just take someone else's bike and roll again. Take someone else's bike. Someone give him their bike, please. Someone give Ben Wallace a bike. Tom Justice. Tom Justice, give Ben Wallace your bike. You're not in the finals, is he? No, he's not. You're not in the finals, Tom Justice. Give Ben Wallace your bike, mate. What's he going to do? Oh, that 3 look back was an amazing way to start a run. Now I think we're heading into the final tricks for heat number 5. Brian Nyquist chipping in his 2 pence. Not sure anyone actually listening. Yeah, this is best trick in the street contest, Ryan. Stay in your lane.
Yeah, that 360 look back was just an absolute thing of beauty, and it's a testament to how weird that obstacle is, because Ben's not going to hang up on a regular spine, but a spine like that with that quick transition like that, I mean, it's tough out there.
He couldn't, like, the thing is, he probably landed, he couldn't have landed that any more perfect. Like, I think that transition on that one side is maybe the exact length of a bike, so it's just unfortunate to clip it on the coping on the way in. But Sam Jones coming in for his final trick, looking for a hard 3 to what could be a KRUK. Looking up like, yep, no one's ever done that before. This will be a heavy one to chuck in the mix in the last thing. And never bad to see an MBD at a contest, especially when it's in the final stages of the finals for Battle of Hastings.
Yeah, right you are, Dan. And you know the crowd is just going nuts out there. They want to see Sam Jones get his final trick done. This man is tired, he's sore, he needs the energy from the crowd, he needs the energy from Daryl Now and Andy Zeiss. So if you're at home, send him the good vibes.
Famously, I think a lot of viewers will remember when Sam Jones and Garrett Reynolds simultaneously landed their best tricks in the best trick event between the rail and the ledge. Here we go. Oh, Sam Jones literally dropping an NBD. You've got one more try, bro. It's right there. It's right there. He's like, yeah, man. Serious look on his face there, lad. So he's got a bit of a swell bow going on his right arm. That might have been that crash you were talking about, Chris, where he said he took a bit of a rough one. He's got a bit of a swell bow on his right arm.
He's looking a little bit beat, wants to hear it from the crowd. Oh, he's got a definite swell bow.
Let's go, Sam. MBDs during the contest. You can't be mad about that. This is going to be a wild one. I know all my street boys are going to be hyped in this one, because you see it's in, obviously, shout out Dan Paley doing the 3 over KRUK and chucking in a switch 180 in there. He was the first person I ever see do 3 over KRUK 180. Now Sam Jones could be the first person I see doing a hard 3 to KRUK, so let's go.
Oh, and he's
hard 3 KRUK, pop over just to take the piss. Sam Jones with an NBD. Call me out on it, I've never seen it. Hard way, 360 to KRUK grind on the rail. Unreal.
And the look on his face is just a look of relief. Just so happy to be done. It's been a long weekend for everybody. You know, they really put in the plaza section, really put in the bowl section, and just to get that done. The weekend's over, time to celebrate, and just the look on his face is just a feeling of absolute relief.
Sam Jones starting it off right with the final tricks for Team Ben Wallace. Kieran Riley is about to drop back in. As we saw yesterday, he did a double flare for his final in best trick for Team Wallace yesterday. So let's see what he's got for us today.
Oh, maybe warming up for that double flare again?
I wouldn't mind seeing something different. I'm not sad about seeing another double flare, but I know he's capable of it, and I know I've seen and heard a lot about Kieran's riding over the past couple of months. It's been like shout out Endless and Nita Bakos, who've been working on him with some shit at the minute and revealing all the little snitchy details to me. So here goes Kieran Riley.
Here we go. And oh, there's the double flare again. Slips the pedal this time around.
I feel like that's the sort of thing he's going to go again.
That is not an easy quarter pipe either.
That is not an easy trick, especially when you're like, I dabbed a foot. If I dabbed a foot, I'd be like, fuck it, I'm taking that. It's fine. Double flare.
What is NYQUIST doing?
Kieran Riley going back in, trying to tidy up that double flare from before. I swear to God, that is the craziest double flare I've ever seen. It's a full double backflip to a 180 at the end.
It honestly looks like he's going to do a double backflip fly out, and then he just hits that 180 right at the last minute, pulls it around for the double flare. Absolutely insane to be doing a double flare in this bowl. So good for you, Kieran Riley. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Nice. It's always nice, especially after your first hit. It's always nice to go back and do something and clean it up a little bit. But like I said, like when you see, not to say like I've seen loads of people do double flares, but I've seen a couple of people do double flares, and the way they do, they almost like rotate sideways like a normal flare, whereas Kieran's literally doing a double backflip and then whipping it around to the 180 at the end. So that was another solid final trick for Team Ben Wallace. Ollie Shields with the third trick, and then obviously Captain Ben Wallace is going to be coming in and taking the reins for the final one.
Yeah, and we could see in the background there a bunch of people scrambling to help Ben Wallace get his bike back together. But on course right now we have Ollie Shields just bailing out of that steep curve right there. That is steepest right near the Vero wall. That bull corner is no joke.
That new extension, it's gone from being like a 3.5 foot ramp to being a straight, like almost 6-7 foot straight in that corner. So the transition does kick up quite a bit, and it is, especially if you haven't spent a lot of time hitting that 1/4, it's going to be quite weird every time you go back to hit it again. So Ollie just shaking it off, getting ready.
I'm interested to see where he goes from here because he's not giving any secrets away with that last hit. Oh, trying to get up on the Vero wall.
Trying to get up there, peg stall on the vert wall. You see Isaac Lesser, shout out to Isaac Lesser, who did a nose press, like a breakless nose press up on top of that sub box yesterday. That was a wild one. Shout out to Isaac Lesser, competing in Battle of Hastings every single year it's been going. Just got to figure the line out.
Maybe a little bit more speed, somehow to get into the bowl. Really figure out that steep transition. Crowd cheering him on a little bit. You know, Daryl's getting him hyped out there. Andy Zeiss. He wants to hear it. Let's see it.
Not quite. Was that the third one? That's I think that's going to be it for Ollie Shields. What you call is judged attempts. So if he goes for it now, it's going to be for nothing but glory. See him get up there.
But is he going just for the double peg, or do you think he wants something?
I've got a funny feeling he might be going. If anything, he could be going pegs to 270 maybe. It's quite tight with the back rail that's right just behind the sub box. So at this point, your guess is as good as mine, to be honest, Chris.
Okay, I mean, that's a tight setup up there. I mean, to go pegs 270 would be gnarly. Just, you know, just pegs up there is pretty gnarly. So be interesting to see. Hopefully he gets something done here. I bet, like you said before, this is his 4th attempt, so it's not going to count for his team score.
Oh, looking for the pedal at the bottom there to try and get a bit more speed.
Which is exactly what it looks like he needs. He needs a little bit more heat to get on top of that wall.
It's almost like it might be a bit better if he just like came around the bottom of the small bowl along the deck and hopped in to the bowl rather than trying to come out, because this transition is quite weird to hop into at the side.
Yeah, he's tired. He's over it.
Yeah, someone want to send Ollie Evans. Shout out Ollie Evans, actually. Ollie Shields the memo. Maybe you might get a better line, because obviously that, like you said, that transition on the back of the what we're calling the jump box isn't much of a transition at all. So it's going to be quite a difficult one to pull your speed from there coming over into the small bowl to get up onto that sub.
Well, I don't know. He's definitely giving you know, Ben Wallace's crew a little bit more time to maybe get that bike together so that Ben Wallace is able to do his final trick and get his tries in. I think that the judges are going to give it to him. I'm sure that the crowd will give it to him. So let's get that back wheel back on. Let's get it together, and let's get Mr. Ben Wallace back in for his final run. Or I'm sorry, not his final run, but his final trick, because I know you'd love to see it. I want to see it. The crowd wants to see it. And I can only imagine what a guy like Ben Wallace has up his sleeve. We got people like Gary Young, Ryan Nyquist, Tom Justice, like
we got the best of the best working on Ben Wallace's bike right now. So if it doesn't get fixed, we know that these boys do not know what they're doing. But I'm hoping, especially Nyquist. Nyquist looks like an engineer sat at the back there. Goes, yeah, that's it. Well, Kieran Riley's signalling for the bike being finished, but it's not.
How many men does it take to change out a wheel? We're gonna find out.
I think we're looking good. We're getting there. He's giving it a bit of a kick. It's a standard. You get a bit of a dent, you gotta give it a kick to get it spinning again.
Well, you gotta clear those brakes.
See, the thing is, I'm more than happy to let Ben have 5 minutes. You know, Daryl's just going to stand here, butter everyone up, keep everyone sweet for 5 minutes. I'm going to try and do the same while Ben gets his bike back to it, because I'm sure just as much as I want to see it, I imagine everyone watching at home wants to see what Ben Wallace has got in store, especially after the visits to the course that him and, I mean, his entire team have had.
Yeah, I mean, they've absolutely crushed it. Kieran Riley, Sam Jones, Ollie Shields. Oh, and look, the bike is back together. Ben Wallace is on course.
We can hear the crowd in here erupting the second Ben Wallace's bike was ready to go again.
Now the real question is, what does Ben Wallace have for his final trick?
I can't even speculate at this point, because he nailed the 7, he nailed the massive 3 look back, he's done the look back into the big bowl. So I'd like to say we're going to see something we haven't seen from Ben this weekend, but we might see something a little bit brushed up, maybe a little bit pepper on it, who knows.
Yeah.
Ben Wallace just feeling out, making sure the rubber meets the plywood in the proper way.
So he's dropping in for this hit right here. Big gap into the vert wall, maybe he wants a trick into that.
Huge air coming, like coasted straight out the top of that vert wall, then coming into it. He's feeling it. Ben Wallace.
Now Wallace is a guy with a solid downside tail whip. We saw Sergio downside tail up that gap. Do you think Ben wants to do something similar to that?
I think, if anything, I think Ben's whips might go the other way, because it also fancies another goofy footed rider. But I think Ben's whips might go. No, am I tripping? I might be. See, this is what I mean. I can't even speculate at this point. I'd like to say I know what's going to happen, but I don't. You never know with Ben Wallace.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Just like everybody else, Ben Wallace is on course into this big curved wall, coming right back at this gap. Huge!
Oh my God! Huge alley-oop look back straight across the entire friggin' skate park into that vert wall. I want to see this more. I don't care what you lot want at home. I want to see this. I will sit here for the next 2 hours until Ben Wallace does it. Don't hurt yourself, Ben. Just get it done. I want to see this. This is going to be a mental one. What a way to close it out.
Absolutely huge. He's got 2 more attempts if he wants to take it, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not counting that first attempt. That first air into it, I'll leave that as a setup. If the judges have got a problem with that, I'll have a word. But first attempt, he came so close, just over rotated it ever so slightly. But it's one of those things like the alley-oop, like just the straight alley-oop into that has been talked about since this park has been built. Ben Wallace chucking a little bit of salt and pepper straight on the top of that, chucking a look back in there as well.
Huge alley-oop look back is what we're looking to see right here from Mr. Ben Wallace. Just pumping hard around this bull corner, up into this corner, down in, here we go.
Oh, Jesus. Just didn't get the push off of that, just over-rotated the 270 a bit early. I think the problem is, like with the alley-oop, he has to push through the transition to get to the back of it, because if you pull up, you'll almost like land way, way, way down to the flat. So there's a lot going on there with like pushing into it, alley-oop, look back. Yeah, my head's falling off.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He did take 1 attempt already. He did gap into it just going regular, and then he did the 270 look back, and then he just had that slam, so that would be his 3rd attempt technically, but you know the crowd wants to see it, we want to see it, everybody at home wants to see it. Would really love to see Ben Wallace get this done. That's so gnarly, and especially coming out of that rounded hip like that. If you come off an inch or 2 to the right or left, you could come out of the wrong area, and it can just totally throw you off. So he has to be like a little bit pinpoint precision accurate to make sure he gets the right spot on that hip to throw him into that wall and get that 270 look back, or alley-oop look back, I should say, because it's not a full 270. So, like yourself, I'm getting a little bit tongue-tied at this point. It's been a long day, so
yeah, there's a lot going on, man. Holy shit.
Would love to see Ben Wallace get this one done for sure, as would everyone else.
Ben Wallace dropping back in. Thankfully, Matt Brown and Andy Zeiss giving it the 1 minute so he can get his bike sorted again. This is it. See, the crazy thing is, even after that setup, if I was a judge, I'd count this. Just be like, okay, you're only setting up, you didn't try your trick, essentially. You just did the alley-oop, you didn't try your trick. I'd be like, right, I'll give you that. So, whether the judges agree with me or not will be very telling at the end of this run. But at the moment, Ben Wallace is looking real good, dropping back into that speed, coming back around the bowl.
Here we go, Dan.
Oh my God! Ben Wallace shit! Fucking hell. I do apologise for my profanities, but that was absolutely mental. Ben Wallace closing out the Battle of Hastings 2021 in fucking style. Let's go. Ben Wallace. Holy shit, that was absolutely incredible. Ali, it almost seemed like he wasn't going to hold that at the back end of it. As he came in, couldn't have been more perfect. That was absolutely amazing. Ben Wallace, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Ben Wallace. That was unreal.
Absolutely hanging on to it. Dan and I were out of our seats. Everyone is out of their seats. Everyone's going wild for Ben Wallace. That's how you close out the Battle of Hastings right there. Celebratory beer.
Cheers.
Well deserved. A hard day for Ben Wallace, and he closes things out. Huge transfer, huge alley-oop look back. Just absolutely stellar riding today.
I cannot believe what I've just witnessed. That was the craziest closeout to a finals event that I've seen in the longest time. Ben Wallace, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, between that, shout out to absolutely all of the heats, Team Sergio LAYOS, Team HOBIE DOAN, Team Brock Rayford, Team Stuart Chisholm, and of course, just seen it, Team Ben Wallace. If you guys give me 1 minute, I'm in the middle of something. We're doing a live feed. I do apologize. That's my own bad, me talking shit, saying I'm giving a frame out. We've now got people slamming through the door. But heat number 5, Chris, holy shit.
I don't think I can do any better job commentating than what you've already done. Dan Lacey's got his fans lining up outside the door right now, but man, what a day that we've had here today at the Battle of Hastings. One for the ages for sure, but I mean, Heat 5 just brought the heat, so to speak. I mean, Ollie Shields, Sam Jones, Kieran Riley with the double backflip, the double flare, I should say, on a very difficult quarter. It almost looked like more like a double backflip to 180 at the very last moment. And then, of course, Ben Wallace closing out the show, the huge alley-oop look back, a look back like only Ben Wallace can do. I mean, we said it before yesterday that he's got one of the best look backs in all of BMX. He didn't even go alley-oop once. We just saw him go alley-oop, perfect look back. I don't know how he hung on to it at the very end there. There was like something magical. We were out of our seats, we're spilling drinks, and just really had to...
I nearly threw a beer at the live feed camera. Oh, that absolutely tore my head off. Ben Wallace. I think it's because I've always been such a massive fan of like turn downs, especially because you are obviously the king of the turn down 360. And then over the years, it's been like Sean Sexton has to look back, Mike Aiken has to look back, and now I get to see Ben Wallace. Now the alley-oop transfer with the look back in it was mint. Absolutely mint.
At your home park, too. A park you ride all the time, and to see something like that go down, I'm sure is very special to you and all the locals. You'll probably never look at that transfer the same way again, I'm sure.
I never look at that transfer anyway, mate. I'm not even joking. It's oppie for me. Like, as soon as I looked at it, I was like, nah, I'll leave it. I see Sergio jumping it, and everyone was like, no, that's ridiculous. But now, Ben Wallace crowning it off on what could be considered an absolutely amazing contest. There was so much diversity, so many crazy, amazing tricks. Sam Jones dropped an MBD mid-contest. Now, someone tell me if they've done a hard 3 to KRUK, because I'll call you a liar. Sam Jones did it first here at Battle of Hastings. Park rail or not, he done it, period.
Yeah, and if you're going to do a NBD, but you might as well do it here at Battle of Hastings. Put it out there.
Trick.
And man, I mean, we saw so much amazing riding today. Obviously, that Heat 5 really stood out to all of us. Was there anything else that you saw today that you were just like absolutely mind blown, something you didn't expect that you were going to see today?
I mean, between this, we've now watched 20 riders go at it on that course, and there is so much that happened. Each individual rider had so much like to bring to the course throughout. Like we had obviously Mark Burnett and Sergio LAYOS were like the standouts in the Heat 1 for me, obviously, and then it would be like. As you run down the list, it gets absolutely stacked as you run down. There was too much to even go through, so I'm going to leave it up to the judges and let them see how they tally everything up.
Thankful to not be a judge at this contest. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with you with the results. Well, Dan and I are still trying to come down after a Battle of Hastings for the Ages, such an amazing contest. Coming up, we have some on-course interviews with Mr. Andy Zeiss and Daryl Now. They're going to be bringing you a couple insights from some of the riders on the course, so let's get to them and check them out.
So as you can see, Ryan Nyquist spinning a set of bars that he's not going to get his hands on this weekend, unfortunately. Massive shout out to Andy Zeiss and Daryl Now for handling everything down on ground zero. See a lot of the homies in the background there chilling now, like my man Fizzle Castro handling the photos. Shout out to him and everyone else throughout the weekend. It's been an absolutely amazing opportunity to be able to sit alongside you, Chris. So thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure.
BMX globally. How about you put your hands together for Rich and Mark Moore? Those two brothers built something very, very impressively up, and they are having the big honor to present the award to the winning team.
Wow, what an unbelievable Battle of Hastings. What an unbelievable Battle of Hastings. This was our 5th time doing this competition, and each time the riding is pumped up through the roof. As Andy just said, the two brothers that founded SourceBMX, Rich and Mark Moore, had a vision. They created the world's largest underground skate park, and they are going to be presenting the biggest honor, this custom trophy designed by local motorcycle fabrication legend Jake Vintage.
All right, so with no further ado, I'd like to present you the winning team of the 5th edition of the Battle of Hastings 2021. Please raise your glasses. Bang them together for Team Ben Wallace.
Everyone on Team Ben Wallace, come on over. Everybody on Team Ben Wallace.
Ben, where's your team? Where's your team? Where's your team? Is that
Ben Wallace?
Kieran, Ollie. Kieran, Ollie, and Sam. Where are you guys? Just for the shots. This is your trophy, team captain. It's funny. Kieran, the Sheik is bigger than you. Just saying, the Sheik is bigger than you.
Wow, what an unbelievable showing. This was a true team effort.
One more time, let's hear for Ben Wallace, Kieran Riley, Ollie Shields, and Sam Jones.
Wow, unbelievable, Andy. I gotta grab a few questions here with our team captain, Ben Wallace. Ben, first of all, congratulations. How does it feel to be here at the SourceBMX Park and win one of the first contests back in 2021?
I'm absolutely speechless. I feel like a right pansy because I'm crying, I'm emotional, but I'm so happy. But man, this vibe, this environment, you guys, it made it so much better. It sounded like a prison when someone came in and they're ooh, getting it out. It's crazy, it's wild. I loved it, thanks for having me. I'm glad you enjoyed it, I enjoyed it. I need to keep my manlyhood away from that to walk away with the first place with these guys. They put in just as much work as me and I'm so honored.
Well, Ben, we are honored to witness your riding. This was a team event. you had an opportunity to pick 3 other warriors going into battle. What was your strategy when picking your team?
Well, everyone else I asked said no, so these were like second dibs. No, of course not. Like, I wanted these guys, and having them on there, I've picked the right people. Like, Sam Jones riding the plaza is like, I'm sorry, boys, I'm sorry. I'm like, what are you sorry for? Like, look at your edit that you put on, you got second. KEIRAN, I'm like, actually was so happy that he said yes, because this is so different for KEIRAN. And OLLIE, he's a great rider, and I've met him a few times and ridden with him, and their riding goes to show what they've done. And it wasn't just me that came away with the win. They did it just as much work as me, maybe more.
Well, I gotta say, this was such a special event. Everyone around the world knows how challenging the last year and a half has been. A lot of people have been on lockdown, not able to travel. What does this specifically mean for you to win one of the first contests back after that challenging year and a half?
It's something else. It's been hard, it's been tough. I've been fortunate to be able to ride through the British cycling thing, but you know, like having this contest, it's completely different to what I normally ride. The UCI, it's different. Hey, look what happened. If I crash the UCI, I'm done. My points are done. But here, I got back up. They wanted to see it, and it got everybody more pumped, and it got me more excited, thinking, right, okay, I've got to do this. And you know what? This last streak wasn't down to me getting it done. I had Ryan Nyquist, I had Tom Justice, I had Gary Young, I had Kieran Riley. I borrowed Kieran's tyre, I borrowed Gary's seat. So if anyone wants to donate me a seat and a new rim, I'll be more than happy for it. So it was a team effort with everyone. We're all here, you know what I mean? We're all here, we ride BMX, and we all love what we're doing. And everybody getting involved just makes it that much better, that much more special.
Well, before I let you go, was riding with a flat tire part of your strategy?
It wasn't, but you got to adapt, you know, sometimes things like that just happen, and I was going to give in. I was like, nah, we've got to screw it, let's see what I can do. And I just tried, but that was funny.
Well, big congratulations to you, Ben Wallace, and your team. Much respect. And anything you want to say to riders around the world as we sign off?
Just enjoy it. We all ride BMX. We do what we want to do. It's freestyle. We love it. Have fun and just make the most of what you want to do out of what you're doing.
Awesome. Congratulations very much, Ben. Back to you, Dan and Chris Doyle.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Team Ben Wallace taking home that first place trophy and all the cash. Congratulations to Sam Jones, Kieran Riley, Ollie Shields for Ben Wallace's team. Just absolutely stellar riding today, Dan. What else can we possibly say that hasn't been said about today's competition?
It's crazy to see like the level of riding here, like especially when I've heard a lot of people every week say like a lot of the main hitters that have been here like for years and years and years, like the bigger names you see here, the level of riding has not been affected by that at all. The riding today has literally blown my head off. Like each heat we'd like trying to discuss then like, oh, you know, between like the fifth heat, who would be the next in line. Like I start trying to think of who did the most amazing stuff out. There was so much going on in that contest, so I can only imagine you guys loved it at home.
Well, we certainly hope that you guys have enjoyed the live broadcast. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, a big shout out to Mark Moore, Rich Moore. Thank you for putting this thing on. It's been a long year for all of us, so we're super excited to have contests back and doing things like this for Core BMX. And again, next year's date is September 8th through the 11th, 2022, so please join in again and join us once more. This is Battle of Hastings 2021 signing off. Thanks for watching.